Hey, hello everyone. Sorry for the late start. I had to make coffee. I kind of had a slow start today. A bunch of stuff to try and take care of real fast. Check out what I got. 2 random Pokemon cards. Were sent to me as part of a package. How we doing today? Hello everyone. Hello, Lycan, Noteworthy, Anordil, Joe Bob, Cisco. Who we got? Connor, Hazard. Oh boy, Rob. How you doing? Coffee is an important thing. I know what's going to happen right now is that I'm going to start drinking this coffee and I'm immediately going to have to poop. It's the nature of the beast. That first sip. Anordil, good afternoon. Oh boy, what should we do today, my friends? We got, frankly, the most fun thing for me right now is researching new mods. And apparently I keep forgetting to change the name of my stream, so I know that's what it says, but I don't have to do that if I don't want to. It might be kind of fun to go through and start bug fixing. On 4.0.7, the old version, hold up. Still getting used to this, my new mat, because I can't quite roll my chair in as far as I used to. Picks. Yes, I am taking suggestions always on mods. Someone sent me a cool one last night. I need to reply to them on Discord. Hold up. Let me go ahead and grab. Where is it at? Let me see. Did I check out the? I have not checked out the Undies mod yet. Anordil. I can do that right now, though, just real fast. Where is this? Here it is. Wizard Warrior. So I saw this. Someone sent it to me on Discord. It seems pretty cool. It's like a kind of just a means of preventing you from having to swap between all your stuff all the time, like your weapons and your spells, by allowing you to cast spells while you have weapons equipped. Here you go. You can see it. Let me pop this over. In the meantime, here, let me look up that Undies mod. What was it called? Underwear for everybody? Something like that? Equipable underwear for everyone. Come on, YouTube. You got it. I think this is terrible, but I have ad block enabled for YouTube still. And this is why I'm getting these. I need to turn it off because it's causing problems. Oh, yeah, I started watching this. Oh, it's loud for me. So, in short, it appears that you can kind of dynamically assign enchantments, for one. That's pretty cool. Like so. But for me, the main thing, the super cool feature is, let me skip ahead here, normal attack. So, you got spells, right? Like she's just showing off a couple of her spells. And here, you're going to import it, and then assign it to it's essentially organized by actions, like this, right? So, you set it to your right hand, your left hand, very similar to how you would if you were just casting the spell. Pink Toad's nice ass. Yeah, I mean, honestly. So when you swing, boom, cast your spell, and it still uses magicka and stuff, so reasonably it'd be balanced. Let's see here. Equipable underwear for everyone. I'm definitely going to hold off showing this one in the... Yeah, this is the one that I was looking at way back when. I'm not going to put it on stream right now because I've got a bunch of women in their underwear. I just get to enjoy it off screen. Wow, there's a lot of lingerie. Let's see here. This mod sets out to finally solve a problem that existed since the first nude body mod. The fact that your NPCs either always wore underwear or never. Play in peace with whatever nude body you want. Everyone wears underwear. I like this, and theoretically, I imagine that you could use this as a framework to, instead of using the underwear slot for underwear, which you can if you want to, you could use it for like clothing, right? I'm assuming. Anordil, you got any thoughts on that? Pix. How do you prefer I pronounce your name, my friend? Is Pix fine? Because that's the best I got so far. The Reliquary mod was mod of the month last month. It is good and big. I'm quite partial myself. The Reliquary mod was mod of the month. Reliquary of... Why can I not spell that? Reliquary of Myth. What's the deal with this? Artifact overhaul. Oh, you mentioned this yesterday, I believe. Briefly, I kind of saw it in passing. Does it add like visual effects to the various lore-friendly, unique enchantments? Gotcha. So enchantments on the artifacts, I have to be very careful with because they're in Requiem. They're extremely powerful, which I really like. So I can always adjust, enchantments this way, that way. Oh, some of these are cool. Oriel's bow. Here, this one I can bring over here. Oriel's bow inflicts 20 points of sun damage. Undead targets take triple damage, yada yada. The bow draws its power directly from the sun, slowly recharging the weapon during the day. Love that kind of stuff. Very unique, very cool. Staff of Magnus. So target is out of magical absorb health. Standard ward automatically comes with the perk ward absorb. Cool. Staff will now instantly destroy magical anomalies. Rad. Most of the options look a little out of place. I'm using its predecessor on LE with tweaks I've made to it. I gotcha. I mean, like I said, I figure you can use whatever models you like with a little bit of tweaking. Morlock, these artifacts are super cool. Definitely need to be adjusted for Requiem. Seems that way, but, if it's... Here, let me write this one down, too. That's what we do with everything else. We tweak the heck out of Requiem. So I imagine it could be. It could happen. And I always like making things more interesting and unique and cool, and I love the idea of grabbing a hold of these fabled relics and really feeling like they're unique and unlike anything you've experienced before. I guess that's just synonymous with unique. Spellbreaker here is cool, but needs balancing since it reflects spells. Let's check it out. Spellbreaker. There we are. Does an S come before T? Absorbing. Oh, they're not counting the that's better for alphabeticalization. Absorbing 15 spell with the ward out will fully charge the shield, allowing you to cast a powerful silence explosion in a 15-foot radius that prevents enemies from casting spells for the entire duration. Timing a block with Spellbreaker has a chance to reflect hostile spells back at the enemy cast. That is pretty ballin'. That's a big one. Voracious Nerd, Spellbreaker is cool. And Ordillo would be simple to replace the undies with the vanilla ones or vanilla plus one via xEdit and mesh and texture overrides. Exactly. I've done it, so I know it can be done. Awesome. Be happy to help you out with that on xEdit if you'd like. I would be happy for the help if we can't figure it out. On that note, let me pop open. So I think maybe for today, a little bit of a change of pace. And we can do, we got 3 hours, so we got all the time in the world to do all different kinds of things. Maybe it would be fun to get some bugs squashed on 4.0.7. We can dive into xEdit a little bit and do some of that kind of work today. We haven't really done anything like that yet on stream. So I'm going to open up here. I have a fresh build of 4.0.6 keyboard. My mod organizer is not open. And here, let me get my Jira open as well, so I can see kind of what tickets we're working with. Let me see. So we've got, see, better jumping. All right. So some of these are just including some quick mods that are not super tough to do. Oh my God, that's bright. No, thank you. Can I go ahead and grab... Where is my style? Here we go. Oh no, does it not have my favorite one? Dark. Is this going to be... Is this... Am I looking at the right one here? I hit OK. Is it going to change it? Okay, well that's better. That's not the one that I usually go with, but maybe it's not in this version. This version's slightly older. Fusion, Dark, Dracula, Paper. No, it is not there. The one that I usually use, my personal favorite. What's your opinion on invested magic? For spells like the Flesh spells or Candlelight, they never run out, but while you have them active, it reduces your total magic pool. I think it's an interesting take on the magic system. I like that, Engineered, because I just like less tedious upkeep kind of things. It's like the fun of using your powers is not navigating the menus. I've always kind of felt that way. However, it is such a drastic change that it would need some careful consideration to ensure balance, but I do very much like the concept. Watch you xEdit work while I'm doing some myself. My net is bad at my current location. I lost audio. That's not good. Dracula is nice. Nice. Oh, the theme. I thought, God, I was just thinking like in general. I was like, I don't think he's super nice. This is pretty good. I think we'll go with this for now. Thank you, Finn. Just going to mention Jira. We've had a few questions about where we're keeping track of our issues. Yeah, we were looking at it the other day in stream a little bit, but you guys can see here. This is essentially our sprint for 4.0.7. So you've got a bunch of different tickets logged, things that we'd like to jam in there. Not all of these are guaranteed to make it in. But you can see by the ticket type that most of these are bug fixes. Some of them are feature additions, but they're for patches that Hazard has already kind of sorted out. So it's just a matter of kind of merging them. So that's not too hard to do. We've got some simple mod additions here that are practically just like SKSE plugins in a lot of cases, ones that just will work out of the box and not really require testing. We've got a whole bunch of stuff. Pyrotech, does anybody mess with U-grids? I've been debating increasing them so I don't have grass pop in and out. Do you have your grass settings already maxed out and they're getting all the way to the edges of the U-grids that you're already loading? I'm trying to see how that would help grass pop in. And yes, Finn is correct that, well, messing with your U-grids can be a problematic way of tweaking things. I mean, there's no harm in testing, I suppose, but I definitely, if I were you, I would not start like a new long-term playthrough on increased U-grids to load. For those of you who don't know, U-grids to load is a Bethesda setting. It's an engine setting that essentially loads more grids, almost like Minecraft chunks, around the player than it does on normally by default. The purpose of that is to create more chunks, we'll say, that have like higher res stuff and won't automatically swap in, like the low quality LODs and things like that. But the engine is not particularly, it doesn't like when you up the U-grids. It's not as bad, I think, as it used to be in terms of instability. But I also don't have any personal experience with that because I pretty much I learned my lesson a long time ago to leave U-grids where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Also, my God, this is so... Here, I gotta get my blue light glasses. Where you got... Here we go. Sorry, it's just a bit much. And in the meantime, I'm gonna take off my headphones. Because I don't need them right now. And when I wear my headphones with my glasses, it hurts the side of my head. They're at 5. For grass, you subtract 1, then divide by 2, so grass is at 2. Interesting. Well, I mean, you could test it, mess around with it. Wow, this feels weird not having my headphones on. I'm not used to that. All right, well, let's go ahead and get this set up. So this has not been edited. Oh, God. Hold on, my cat's clamoring to get in. Come on. Oh, it's fine. I can stick her in here. I don't mind. Come on. Yep. Ah. Oof. Here you go. Kitty. Dude. This is one of 2. Alright, dingus. Go on over here. Now, most of the time, she'll just chill out there. Okay, let's go ahead and add. We're going to add a new executable. It's going to be xEdit. And our binary is gonna be utilities, SSE edit. There we are. Hide the skooma. I get that. She's a real addict. What are you doing? You guys see her? Is she in the shot? She's not. Well, she's over on my couch. Oh, here it begins. Start in... I don't even know if I need to define any of this. Okay, this is weird. I'm putting my headphones back on. It's like a comfort thing. Now I can play some music as well since we're going to be sitting in xEdit. There we go. Let's add these to a playlist. That's what I did. Play album, add album to queue. Add album, shuffle. That's shuffle, right? Yep. Bloody Blades. Is that audible for you guys? I can turn it up a little bit too. Let's get some nice Elder Scrolls. Come for the dev stream, stay for the cat. Okay. Let's see here. Over here. If I do that, it's been a while since I set up my executables. Let me see if it runs. I feel like it should. Whoops. Yep. It's working. Okay. So we got xEdit. I think that's all we're going to need for now. I mean, later, once we start, probably not today, but once I have to re-rectify and do all those other fun things, and I'll have to add some other ones. But I think for now, that ought to do it. All right, now some of these tweaks. Okay, here's what we'll do. It's got better jumping. So what we'll do is we'll move this to in progress. And then you as well. Oh, you know what we should just do here? Let me just go ahead and launch this sprint because I actually just remembered that it's not active. Why can I not scroll? This is my backlog. Come on, baby. Start sprint. So this is going to give us a, yeah, you can adjust it, but by default, sprint and agile project planning has 2-week durations. A sprint is a 2-week duration where you try and crank out all this stuff here. Oh, you know what we need? We don't have estimate fields for all these. You know what I'm going to do? Actually, well, I'll worry about that next time. Sprint goal. Haha, funny. Start. Boom. So we're going to take private profile redirector. We're going to get Sky UI. These are all, so now we have these swim lanes, right? Hey, Glushrick, how you doing? The way the swim lanes work is, it's pretty obvious. These are still left to do, haven't been started on. These ones are in progress. These ones have moved to the testing phase, and these ones are verified working. Once they're verified working, you move them into done. Oh, is this done? Non-issue. Oh, I understand. Connor assigned this one to non-issue. I'm going to change this to... Oh, we can't from here. I'm going to go to do, and then I have one for already completed. Sort of, actually, you know what? Non-issue is better. See? Why would I even try and adjust what Connor does? Put this here, and then... Alright, now from to do, can I just set it to non-issue? How did I... false report positive, that's fine. Boom. Okay, so we'll start with these. These are easy. This is just adding mods. Oriel's, God, Oblivion's soundtrack is just so... Maybe it's just because it invokes so many memories for me, but... better jumping, Ellie. It makes me smile. Better jumping. There we go. And we got, what were the other ones? I need to have this, sorry, in a separate window, otherwise I'll forget. Private profile redirector. LE. There we go. And then Sky UI AIO survival. And these ones, honestly, should be as simple as installing them, because they are very simple mods. Alright, give me for Frostfall. Do I need both of these? 560. Yes, I can just get the one, it seems. Alright, mod manager download. We got 1. And we got 2. And we got 3. Whoops. Speeds up game start, storing any files. You guys are curious, this mod, Private Profile Redirector, it caches your ini settings because apparently, this is insane. Read this right here. The problem this plugin tries to solve comes from the fact that the game uses an old, deprecated, and extremely inefficient function to load values from ini files. The function in question is getPrivateProfileString, a relic of 16-bit operating systems. But do you know what is worse than using such a function? Using it hundreds of thousands of times. So the game calls this function for every single game setting is the problem, and it just is way, way slower for startup. So of course we've got a fix for that. Thank you, modders. Alright. Just got downloads. Private profile redirect, that's fine. Better jumping. And Sky UI AIO survival. Mod changed my life when I was doing testing and booting the game every 2 minutes. Yes, same, Hazard. Alright, so honestly, I don't even think any of these have plugins, do they? They might. Oh yes, this one does. Alright, well, here, since that one does have a plugin, we will, these ones don't, so they're even easier. So I can go ahead and drag those to testing. So private profile redirector and better jumping are now in testing. This one's still in progress, Sky UI, because before I can qualify it for the testing stage, I need to investigate the plugin in xEdit. The reason for that is you have to evaluate. I mean, this one I anticipate 0 problems. But every plugin that I add or update, I check for just conflicts, for things that will need to be adjusted, so on and so forth. So while we're jumping into xEdit, we can move Ashes 02, hazard fixes. You know, I almost want to just straight up get rid of Ashes. I'm going to have to think about that one. So I'll wait. I'll hold off on that for now. Cisco, the mod name is the mod name Private Profile Redirector LE. Here, I have it here. Boom. Finn says he disabled it in his game. I mean, it's just, I was talking with Connor about this the other day, and I think the rest of you guys too. It's a novel idea trying to have these kind of teleportation sequences, or like, you know, removing the character when they die and putting them somewhere else. It's just that the game is not built for it, and it's very easy to break things. There are other death consequences that we can think about implementing, but until we have something like that, I think it's just asking for problems if we continue to try and teleport players out of instances where they weren't designed to be teleported out of in the base game. Okay, actually, here. It's already starting to bother me. It's unfortunate. It's like either I need in-ear earbuds, but I don't like them a lot of the time. So what are you going to do? Got to compromise somewhere. All right, what's something that we can do while we're in there? Gameplay, House of Horrors quest progression block. Taking low growth for the House of Horrors, players asked to make the following choice. Beat low growth. So yeah, so nothing happens after dropping the mace. Quest can only progress by beating a low. That's weird. That part works. I can't complete the last part of the quest, which is, yeah, so that should work. But does not progress the quest in a vanilla US Express where the mod's assets are BSA packed and the plugin is hidden. Gotcha. So there, because you had the BSA file, the above. Now address the other issue, which is the last stage. So I know exactly what's happening here. Some of these changes were like some of the first things that I did in Ultimate Skyrim. The curse cure is fixed by reapplying the original End Blessing Stendar, attaching a patch that fixes both issues. Dropping the mace didn't progress the quest. Yes, so has managed to infer my intent here. Should be easy enough by changing the magic effect reference passed in. For this, I don't really care about changing the thing. I'm probably... Oh, well, you already have an ESP here for the alternate cure. Look at you, Hazard, above and beyond the Call of Duty. Alright, well, what I'll probably do, to be honest, I'll throw these fixes in here, but I think the better solution is just to... Because, I mean, what we're doing here, to be clear, with 4.0.7, I want to spend as little development time on this as possible, because, as you know, the team and I are working on Special Edition. So this is really just to make things work as they're supposed to in LE, and just provide as good of an experience as possible for the people who are going to be remaining there. Editing new features, adding in stuff like that is not really within the scope of this patch. I would rather just kind of cut out the tumor wholesale, the tumor being the changes that I unsuccessfully tried to make, which thankfully is simple enough. But we will load up these patches just to kind of see what we're working with. So, you know, House of Horrors alternate ending fix, scripts. These are changes to the scripts. Hazard. Are these... Hold on, let me go reread your comments right here. The fuck? Okay. Gotcha. Thanks, Jira. Great interface. Fixed by extracting the PEX files and the curse not being cured. Okay. Well, alright. It seems like your fixes essentially will remove... Okay, so what do you think, Hazard, since you're here? Should I just straight up bypass all of the changes that the Ultimate Skyrim ESP makes? Or do you think I should apply the fix? I'm thinking, like, and by bypass, I mean just revert the entire functionality to vanilla, revert any sort of changes that we need to make. Would that save us from having to attach additional script files and things of that nature? What do you think? That's kind of my thinking on this. It's a beautiful song, by the way. These are cool emotes, too. I'll start doing that. How about this? I'll load it up. I can load up the files at the very least. Here's what I'm going to do. Go here. I'm going to make a new mod. Actually, it's frankly simpler just to do it this way. Go into mods, new folder. We're going to call this Hazard Fix House of Horrors. Take this and then open up our beautiful... I'd have to take a look at it. Do you mean keeping House of Horrors mod in the vanilla BSA state? Yeah, so essentially what I'm talking about here is removing any changes that Ultimate Skyrim plugins make to the quest and anything at all to the plugin, and then re-enabling the BSA, and then just like cutting out all the copies, unmerging the plugin essentially. But here, let me go ahead and drop these in here anyway. Alternate cure ESP. Thank you. This is Morrowind. Ugh. I don't know all the changes US makes to it. I only focused on tracking down the one bugged quest stage. The only change, it's just a merge, and then that was the only proprietary change I tried to make was, whoops, what am I doing? Trying to change the consequence, making it a bit tougher. So I'd rather just let the whole thing play out. And then that way, if people don't, like, if they want to fix the curse or whatever, then everything the quest tells you will be exactly correct. Everything the description page tells you will be exactly correct. There's no changes, no nothing. I think that's what I'm going to do. Mod organizer. And we got to refresh. Here we go, guys. One thing at a time. Hazard Fix, House of Horrors. Okay, alternate cure. So we're going to load these up just so we have them as a reference, right? Are these dependent on Ultimate Skyrim? They are, so they're going to have to load afterwards. That's okay. Alright, let's dive in. Shall we? Why am I only getting these guys? Did I not set something up correctly? start in... Hey, Sacroletius, how you doing? This should be fine. Although, one thing I want to do. Apply. Because you add this string to the arguments, it won't, like, warn you every time you start the game. It's been so long since I set this up. Start in... Does it matter if I start? I mean, if it's launching through the virtual file install, it should pick up all my plugins. I don't know why it's not. It is definitely... Unless... No, it's just loading those plugins only. It's like it's not virtualizing. Okay, well, that's not what we need. Maybe if I restart... Oh, duh. I'm trying to use xEdit for xEdit. It's been a long morning, my friends. xEdit LE. TS5 edit. There we go. Of course, of course, of course. I'm just so used to using SSE edit now. Let's go SSE build. Utilities, go TS5 edit. There we are. Hey Forja, how you doing? Epic music, right? This is Morrowind too, I believe. Sometimes I can't remember, but most of the time, I'm pretty on it. Yes, Minstrel's Lament. Let's see. No, Knight's Charge. Yeah, it's definitely Morrowind. Oh, yeah. Okay, much, much better. Sacroletius, fixing more nav meshes at the moment. Hell yeah. Forge Arcana, good man. Trying to mod my SE. Good luck, my friend. Okay. No, not Streamlabs. Where is my... Ugh, this is going to be annoying. I hate bug fixing. It's boring and not as fun as doing new features. But of course it needs to be done. Here. No, that's not what I'm doing. Use Requiem for SSE? Yes, sir, that's the plan. Heavily modified, of course, but yes, Requiem will be the basis. Where did I install it? I installed it here. Got so many fucking files and things. Pin to taskbar. Why is pin to start here and pin to taskbar is here? I mean, I understand that all the little connections in between are added by apps, but why would they not be the same? Makes no sense. There we go. Bethesda feels the same way when it comes to bug fixing. Oh yeah, but Bethesda gets to charge for what they do, so they don't have an excuse. Unless the bug fixing is easy and straightforward, which it admittedly never is. A lot of these fixes that we have in here, right? Now, you are right. Sometimes I cannot... Oh my god. How many times do you go in to fix a bug and it's just an absolute nightmare and ends up being far more involved than you ever thought it would be? But for our board here, a lot of these tickets really are not that bad. They probably should be straightforward. It's just like boring. and the thing for me is that obviously I prefer to work on special edition because that's going to be the new thing, and then the other one is in maintenance mode only. So anytime I spend on legendary edition to me is like, I mean, it's maintenance, you know what I mean? Maintenance is never as fun as expanding and continuing. If you have a vision that you're trying to accomplish, everything that I'm doing here, it has nothing to do with that, but it is important to do, so we got to do it. At least for me, the most part, Haz's patches are just merge and forget. Yes, anything that has gotten done here, like that'll be very straightforward to just merge. I don't have to figure it out myself. All the other ones are fairly easy, so really I'm just complaining. But it is less interesting to me. And I'm very grateful for all the patches. Forge Arcana, I'm trying to make my first bashed patch, excuse me. Congrats. I don't use bashed patches myself, but that's because I do everything by hand. Bash patches are a very cool thing in general. We're going to call this, I'm going to keep it xEdit. Utilities, TS5 edit. Boom. I don't touch things that require your input, like setting enchanters levels. Appreciate that, Hazard. Boom. Now we should be in business. Let's see. Could not open registry key, software, Bethesda software, Skyrim. Okay, that's an error that I've never seen before. Interesting. Alright. Are you using your cracked copy again? Yes, of course. You can't say things like that. People won't know that you're joking. I don't use cracked copies, people. Sometimes a restart just does the job. My problem is testing if I did right. Okay, what the fuck is this? Case in point, Sacrilegious. It's never as simple. Could not open registry key. TS5 edit. Well, other people have had this problem, it seems. Happens when the game's install location key is missing or incorrect. You need to start the vanilla launcher and it'll auto-detect everything again. Okay, fun. Oh, you know what? That's weird. Why is this not... What virtualized process is still running? Close them. Oh, this one. Oops. I hate when Windows don't have a representation on the taskbar. Chill Banana, how you doing? Okay, let's go to my hypercube, my games, my... You guys want to play some Typing of the Dead? That's a real fun one. Steam apps, common, Skyrim. We have to do the actual launcher, huh? Fun. That's definitely Morrowind. The road most traveled. You Skyrim launcher. Chill Banana, what mods are you testing right now? We're actually not testing at the moment. We are bug fixing for Legendary Edition. I think, I'm not sure content-wise how exciting this will be. I figured I'd throw the stream a bone, do it at least once, so people can see kind of what that is, what it entails. But this sort of thing I'll probably end up doing more on my own time, and for the streams I'll show off things that are a little bit more exciting. But you know, it could be exciting to some people. It's good background content, maybe. That's what I've heard. Here we go. Use Skyrim launcher. It's I got PTSD from the Skyrim launcher. Forya Arcana is good to learn. I can see that. It's just, if you were trying to use it as a tutorial, it's like you might passively learn things that we talk about. I get that. But definitely it would not be good if you have a specific thing that you're trying to fix and you're looking for a tutorial. If you're searching this video after the fact, I mean, like on YouTube. Hey, look at that, everybody. Beautiful. It's working. Now we get to wait for it to build out all of our references and load all our plugins. By the way, this application is the coolest fucking thing since chocolate milk. If you're a modder, it's just so nice. Allows you to do so much. I built Ultimate Skyrim almost exclusively in xEdit, and there are things that you can't do in xEdit versus the CK. There are also things that are better to do in the CK versus xEdit. But my God, it's a fantastic app. And so what it's doing right now, you can see building and saving or whatever, loading reference info. So it needs the reference info to display data properly. And this process used to take forever. So the amount of time that you would spend just waiting for references to build, like, if you accumulated it over time, you would lose so much time. And when Elminster released the 4.0 version, I believe it was, there was a new method for loading reference data, and it was just like, oh my god, it's like this now. Like, it takes a little bit longer right now because it's doing it all for the first time, but what it'll do after this is cache all the information that it's getting, and then at that point, as long as you're not really making major changes to the load order, but sometimes even when you do, it's still not that bad. It's just so much faster. My problem with, I won't stream myself doing nav meshes for 8 hours straight. Oh my gosh. That is a lot of nav meshing. Also just working for 8 hours straight on nav meshes. My problem with tutorials is that, I mean, at least you get kind of like some visual variety in there, right? You get to go to like different cells and things like that. That's about the only thing I could think of that would keep that from being the most tedious thing. Positive comment guy, this is xEdit. TS5 edit for our specific purposes here because we're working on Legendary Edition. But xEdit is the abstraction, kind of the generalized term. And Oriel, I like this for background and commentary. Awesome, thank you, bro. Also, I'm yawning again, everybody. I'm sorry. Having xEdit open on my first monitor, the CK on my second monitor, and watching the stream on my third monitor. Gotcha. Having xEdit and the CK open at the same time doesn't mess with anything. They don't step on each other's toes. I've always wanted a way to open 2 instances of xEdit at the same time, but I don't think that that's possible as of now. Alright, we are in. Good to go. Okay, so for those of you who aren't familiar, here's a quick run-through of xEdit, right? You can see having the CK open messes with the CK. As long as you don't edit the same plugin. See, I don't trust myself not to make that mistake. Ah! Oh, God. I need to get more sleep, guys. I just gotta do it. So here you go. We can twirl down. Here, let's twirl down Ultimate Skyrim. So here's changes, additions made. You can pick a, here, what's a good introductory little thing to look at? Let's look at a weapon. Let's look at everyone's favorite iron sword. Very first record. So the way that this works, for anyone who's interested, is that we are looking in xEdit. xEdit is a way of looking at the records and the data that's in the game. So what you see here is each one of these columns is a different plugin's version of the same record. So Iron Sword is our record. Here is Skyrim ESM. This is the original record that is in Skyrim ESM, the master. We've got a version of the Iron Sword from the USleep patch, which seems to change some rumble data, and also a percent multiplier for crits, it appears. We've got another one from weapons and armor fixes that makes some of the same changes, and also adds some keywords. You can see that each one, Requiem, evidently does not forward these keywords. Kind of makes sense, but that's why you need conflict. Actually, these keywords in particular are not like super important. But conceptually, this is why you need patches, because you got to forward stuff. The problem is that, let's say, okay, so we got guard dialogue over here, right, that forwards the changes from weapons and armor fixes, whatever. If Requiem is the last thing that's loaded, you can see it doesn't have this keyword data. That means that if this is the very last one, then that keyword data, despite being in these plugins, will not be in the game. It's just how it works. And so you need, for example, Ultimate Skyrim or another patch to come through and just change it. Although this one's really, you can see, oh god, Cryptober's fix is rectified by Unmakes. That has all the same data as the Ultimate Skyrim one. Ultimate Skyrim ESP just controls all this stuff by unifying. I unified all the editor IDs for my own sanity. You can see that they're all kind of like its own naming convention that I use, which took a very long time, but it was worth it in the end. You can prevent the CK from crashing by not opening it. Yeah, it does seem that way. It's about the only method. Rule of 1, the last one loaded wins. Exactly. Insert live dangerously meme regarding having the CK and xEdit open at the same time. Absolutely. Finn, I appreciate the naming so much. I'm really glad because I wanted to do it too, obviously, because I spend the most time just in this fucking plugin, just sorting stuff, but I knew that it would make it easier for all of us off the bat, so it helped justify the amount of time that it took. It took a long time. We've got, especially, oh my god, you want to see what took a really long time? Sort by editor ID. Doing all of the crafting editor IDs. Here you go. This took a long time. Renaming all the different constructible object records. So every one of these records, for those of you who don't know, is a recipe. So you can see food. This is a recipe for a sweet roll at a crafting oven. This is a recipe for flour at the grain mill. These are all alchemy. Here's an episode recipe for ammo, ancient Nordic arrow. At the very bottom, you can see it's crafted at the forge, etc. So anything that doesn't have a color associated with it is a proprietary recipe. And you can see that there is a whole lot of recipes. Here, I'll even hold control so I can scroll down, right? So if I hold control and I scroll, it's going page by page instead of going a little bit at a time. So check this out. Let's see how many of these there are. Still going. All right, we're at A now, armor. We are at, oh, here we go. Got armor D, E, Elven, Falmer, Fur. You can see the little, our guy here moving. You, Sacrolettes, you didn't rename them manually, I hope. Sort of, Sacra. I use xEdit scripts that allow me to append and replace strings. But, I mean, it's still pretty manual, to be honest with you, in a lot of ways. Like, you can do chunks with the xEdit scripts. And sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's not. But the thing is that I also renamed, like, all of the items. So, like, for example, leather box pouch dark, that's my own naming convention. Originally, it's, what's it called? Box pouch, comma, dark. So, there's a lot of manual renaming here. Add prefix or suffix, replace text in editor ID. Yes, that's exactly correct. I don't understand how people using dark mode at xEdit. The dark red and green backgrounds kill my eyes. I can see that. But the bright white kills my eyes worse. So I use this one. I like dark mode so much I even set my girlfriend to dark mode. I also use dark mode for most things. I love dark mode in general. I agree there has. It's not ideal, but to me it's preferable. So yeah, you guys take the point. There's a lot of freaking recipes in here, and this was not super fun to do. But it was a lot. It was one of those things where you just kind of knock it out over the course of a few weeks, and then you just save yourself so much time in the future because you know how everything's organized and everything is exactly where you expect it to be, and so on and so forth. So there you go. There's all the recipes. I wonder how many that is. You guys want to see how many recipes are in the Ultimate Skyrim plugin? Let's find out. Not counting these disabled recipes, of which there are a lot. That includes like duplicates and things of that nature. Alright, let's go. Weapon. All the way up to, oh god. I wonder how well Zmerge will work for UltSky because it's huge. I don't know. That's why, I mean, I don't like using automated merging anyway. I like doing merges by hand. Okay, does it show? 18,791. How did you disable them? By adding a condition that never returns true? You can do that, Sacrolettes. Honestly, the simplest way of disabling a recipe. Little fun fact here. Just, so there's a what's it called? Workbench keyboard or keyword that you can use that is included in Crafting Overhaul, CCOR. So that will do it. However, you can literally just delete the output and then it'll never show up. So that's what a lot of people do. I put this in here so that I can use the reference by tab to see exactly which recipes are disabled, right? So like when I click through to my keyword here, I can see all of the different recipes that are disabled by the Ultimate Skyrim plugin, right? But you'll find that a lot of modders who disable recipes will just straight up delete the created object, and that will prevent it. It's a hacky way of disabling your thing. But if you do this, it'll do it as well, because if there's no created object and there's no workbench to make it at, either one can be true and the recipe won't show up. It's real fun. Okay, what were we doing? We were fixing, where's my Jira page? Here you go. We got Sky AIO Survival. Let's evaluate that real fast. So chances are these are entirely proprietary records. It appears that way. So just a quick perusal. Sacrilegious, I've seen people adding the deleted flag to constructible object records. Yeah, not good. I think I understand where they're coming from. It's, you know, they just see deleted and they think, oh, I want to delete it. This says deleted. Might as well, but that is, for anyone who doesn't know, you do not want to do things that way. Do not want to delete the references straight up. You can disable them in some cases, which is always preferable, or most of the time. I cannot think of an instance in which deleting the record is preferable to just straight up disabling it. Hazard, I think you can just do the UltSky changes to House of Horrors mod and not worry about the BSA part. Should be fine. I'll check later to confirm. I would really just rather unmerge the mod and just have it load the BSA. It's the simplest way in my mind. Message. All right, so that one. So what I'm checking for here is that, so you can see that none of these records have a color or anything. They're, you know, no background, no colored text. What that means is that they are not being overridden by anything. They're not overwriting anything. There's no conflicts to worry about. It doesn't necessarily mean that the functionality will work in game or anything like that. Like, that can be any number of other things, but it should, because we have nothing's overwriting any of these records. So that's kind of what we wanted to check here. This is a compatibility check. Hey Plot, how you doing? Okay, so I moved that one to testing. And let's get hazards fixed in here. You can see why merging plugins also sucks a lot of the time. This will be a perfect example of that. So House of Horrors alternate ending fix. So these are going to be edits to the proprietary Ultimate Skyrim version of this. And the alternate cure. So what we're going to do, in fact, you know what? Fuck, I just realized. Hold up a sec. You can have one mod's record referenced in another mod and it won't show any overwrite coloring. Yes, so that is not the only way to check for things that might be wonky, I guess, for lack of a more scientific term. Before we do this, we need House of Horrors. Let's see here. H. Hazard fix House of Horrors. No, I want OG House of Horrors. There, House of Horrors alternate ending. File tree. Now this is hidden by default because we merged it. So I'm unhiding it. I'm going to stick it here. Now this also is tricky. One of the reasons why this wasn't working before is because I disabled the plugin and it had a BSA that's associated with it. A BSA is an archive. And sorry, just what does this say? Well, I'll finish this thought. A BSA is an archive. Archives contain files that you need a lot of the time, and as of now, the only way to force an archive to load is to have the plugin enabled. So if you try and, I mean, you can like jank it so that you will load the BSA other ways, but it's definitely the simplest way is just to have the plugin loaded. So we're going to pop this one in here, and the reason I need that is because I'm going to use it to check for all the records that were merged into Ultimate Skyrim ESP and actually get rid of them. Paul. Oh, God, it looks so much like Mindy Kaling, that emote, from like a distance. I know you aren't working on perks and stuff. Yesterday you were talking about how you didn't like the current perk system. I don't know if it's possible. You could have people pre-select their perk at the start of the level, and they level up, they get the perk, because then you can rationalize that you were working on that skill while fighting and doing stuff. Funnily enough, Paul, we've actually been working on a system, or theory crafting a system that works a lot like that, where you have people selecting their perks to like train passively, and then they kind of gain experience in that perk until they master it. Alternatively, you can have trainers teach it to you, or you can find, you know, like a scroll or a book or a tablet or something like that that teaches you how to do the perk or like the technique that it is. So Ah! Oh, I apologize, everybody. That way, it kind of simulates people training stuff. You can't jank it by leveling up mid-combat and regaining all health, stamina, and magicka. Yes, and you also cannot... This is a problem in Requiem, where essentially what this would do is it would remove perk points as a system. So, one, people could theoretically have as many perks as they wanted, although it would take a considerable time investment. It's a lot more like a horizontal progression, like RuneScape system, almost. So that happens. And then also you don't have this really difficult, kind of cheesy problem to worry about where, like in Requiem by default, this is what a lot of players will do, metagamers, is they will gain skill points, in unrelated skills so that they can get a perk point in like one. So like you might train a bunch of alchemy so that you can get a perk point, and then you apply that perk point to like destruction magic, and it's like how does that reconcile? It's like we'll say one-handed instead, because you could argue there's like some cross overlap between alchemy and destruction magic, but you gain a bunch of skill points in alchemy so that you can get a perk point in one-handed. It's just kind of like cheesy and not really there. Does the perk system really need messing with? In my opinion, yes. Why not just use the experience mod? Because it also, it makes some cool changes, but it's not the changes that I want to make either. It's not kind of my ideal experience system. It has, for me, my favorite thing about the Elder Scrolls leveling system, the thing I feel like they originally got right, and something that I feel like, frankly, they undermine with the perks as they're implemented by default, is the idea that you get better at things by doing the things. That I've always loved. I think it's a really cool system. It makes sense to me. It's realistic. I improve my one-handed skill by using one-handed weapons. I improve my destruction magic by using destruction magic. And I would like a system... I don't mind the idea of perks as like, little techniques or like singular bonuses to your abilities. That's fine. It's just that it's completely arbitrary when I can train. It's like, why can I get perks in like cryomancy or whatever, right, when I've never cast a single frost spell? Things of that nature that just don't like it. Sacriletes can remember XP for completing quests. There's XP for completing quests, but same thing. It's like, it just feels so arbitrary to me. You know what I mean? Like, I understand I would rather have the experience diegetically given to the player as they're doing the quest, whereas like the quest itself, like if a quest is an errand, someone tasks you with doing a thing and you go and do the thing. If you do that in real life, the only like thing that you're going to get from the errand in relation to the person who gave it to you is whatever they give you for completing the errand successfully. Any experience that you gain along the way, it has nothing to do with like the quest itself, or it's just what you're doing along the way. And I just want to cut out the middleman and just make it so that what you do is what increases your experience. When you do stuff, you get better at it. Simple as that. Simple as. With the new system being theory crafted, it would completely decouple perks from character level. You could theoretically obtain every perk at level 1. Yes, in theory, that also depends on how we do like skills, if they're going to affect your overall character level. But yes, that would be possible. I like that you use skills to become better. So you can get Master Destruction at level 1. Level 1 character level, but you would need you still need to get the skill requirements for any perk. And you also need to meet the requisite perk requirements. So this is where what we haven't quite figured out yet is what to do with character levels and figuring out how that kind of factors in. Because also character levels are a completely arbitrary kind of abstraction as well, and they have been since forever. Separate but mod suggestions would be the great town and village mods. Even if you aren't using the great cities, the villages and towns are cool and have unique architecture. I saw that, Paul. We were actually looking at them yesterday. So this is definitely one of those ones that I'm going to jam in there and just maybe push some stuff around and put it alongside other things. Pushing for it to be optional partly for that reason. Posit, this is going to be the most divisive thing you've done. Probably. Is this planned for release 1? No, it's going to take quite a lot to do. It's possible that it might, like Finn wants to make it optional, we might be able to do that. It could be possible to do. But I'll be honest with you, if it becomes too difficult to keep optional, I won't. I'll just kind of, and usually there's a way to keep it optional without too much trouble, but like compatibility and those kinds of things are frankly not my largest concern. I add it where it's possible and where it's not, doesn't create a massive amount of overhead, but other than that, I just blam. I try and I'm like, I want it to be this way, and then I make it that way, and then sometimes like, wow, that didn't work at all, and then I have to reimagine the system. But the changing it to be the way that we want is always the primary thing that we do. I like XP rewards for quests, as many modded quests don't give any real reward through the NPCs. By using a global system, one can get XP from every quest, even all modded ones. So yeah, in that instance though, Sakura, I'd rather just make the reward better. You know what I mean? Like, you can individually edit. You can take any quest you want in the game and make the reward whatever you want. That, to me, makes a lot more sense than trying to arbitrate an experience system that applies to like every quest. And especially also when quest becomes even more amorphous as a term, as we add things that are like quests, but they're, you know, jobs that you perform for like a blacksmith, or like quests in the form of, you know, missives. Editing every quest on Nexus takes a lot of time though. It does. Well, see, what I'm talking about is editing the quests that are in Ultimate Skyrim. Those are the ones that take the time to edit. In my mind, it's kind of like you're nursing things back to health. Is if I add something to Ultimate Skyrim, that's essentially me taking responsibility for it. And I take responsibility for how it works within the context of the rest of the configuration. But you are correct that it takes a very long time. The reason I'm able to do stuff like that, frankly, is because as of now, I can kind of sort of make a living doing this. And if I didn't, I couldn't do this kind of thing. Spell research. You become better at what you study. You analyze artifacts to know more. You use your knowledge of archetypes to create new spells. And mastery means you can make all spells, which is exactly how mastery works in real life. Knowledge enables the applications of knowledge into artifacts. Exactly. That is exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, scope is the worry. I'm sure Dylan will put in a kick-ass system. That's very kind of you, positive comment guy. The name is apt there. I should load this too. How about a hidden perk that modifies magnitude of abilities based on a skill value? Well, so if you're talking about making abilities more effective based on your skill level. That's already kind of how it works. I want to push it even further, especially if we're going to have these perks that give you more abilities or give you these very particular kind of bonuses. See, editing every quest on Nexus takes a lot of time. I try to make everything compatible / consistent, not just the vanilla content. I don't quite understand what you mean there. Definitely compatibility, I don't give a shit about, frankly. Consistency, I give many shits about. But see, compatibility for me, it's like everything that we put into Ultimate Skyrim is specifically edited for compatibility with whatever else is in Ultimate Skyrim. And so there's the consistency. What are we doing here? We're going House of Horrors, alternate ending. So here is where I get to go ahead and unmerge by essentially finding these records within the Ultimate Skyrim plugin. So these are messages, right? So we can go to message. We got, what is it, DA10. Usually I keep these the same. Not always. And especially because this is an older change, it's very possible that I didn't. But I think, I went over all vendors in my load order and gave them perk investor options. Oh, sure. I mean, so you could argue there, though, that what you're doing there, in my mind, is bug fixing, because vendors are supposed to have perk investor options. That's a bug. It's a bug if they don't have it. Morlock, thank you for the $15 tip. That is extremely kind of you, my friend. I appreciate it. For me, I'm talking consistency from a mechanic standpoint, and that's where it gets real time consuming, like you said. Need some water. And see, same thing. It's like that takes a very long time, as I'm sure you know from having to do that. But sometimes these kinds of changes are worth it. And if my whole thing is that I don't think that quest experience and the character experience is a system that makes sense to me, I don't have a problem going to every quest that's in vanilla and all the mod added ones and making the rewards interesting or, you know, consistent or whatever you want to call it. Let's see here. Okay, so there they are. We can see what they're being referenced by. Referenced by tab is just the best. So this is a record that proprietary record. So here's what we're going to do, everybody. We're going to take these. In my ideal game, character level wouldn't even exist. Exactly, Finn. The fact that it does exist is why, we now have to figure out... The fact that it exists and the fact that the character level is what determines your attribute increases, that means that somehow, unless we can find a way to completely circumvent it, we have to do something with it. No, Sacriletes, it's not that you never get stronger, it's that there would be a different way of getting stronger. If your health, once again, ideally, in consistency with all the rest of the stuff, it would be diegetic. You get stronger over time. If health is, you get more health by, I don't know, becoming, stronger muscles or whatever, then doing skills that affect your muscles will improve your health or your stamina. Or, ideally, I guess, your health or your magicka or your stamina would also be skills that you could train. You know what I mean? Yeah, see, like Finn says, you can get stronger over time. It's just, it's the same concepts, but executed in a way. If you look at these perk changes I'm talking about, the idea of, improving your character's ability, that's you gotta have that for, an RPG. You gotta have that progression. That's where the fun is. It's just changing how you get there. You know what I mean? Really the only change we're talking about in that system is, instead of perk points and the way that it currently works, it's you just train the skills and that's how you get the perks. So you're still getting stronger. You're just it's a different method of doing so. And it could theoretically take the same amount of time too. I see. Character level is just an arbitrary indicator of you get stronger. There's no reason health, magic, stamina need to increase on level up. You can do it as quest rewards over time. Yeah, really. How is that different from adding XP rewards from quests? It's not. I think he's just offering that as an example. But for me, once again, that's not the sort of thing that I would be adding as a quest reward. There's no quest reward that suddenly makes me have more health unless the quest reward is a mage who's I'm gonna cast this spell at you that makes you have more health. In that case, I'm all right, fine. But that's because there's a reason, a diegetic reason that it's happening. Let's see here. We've distracted him. I am very prone to distraction. If you guys don't distract me, I'll find a way to distract myself, I promise. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to carve this puppy up. Take this DA curse message, get rid of it. That's going to create an error in our plugin now. And in fact, you know what I should really be doing here? Instead of just editing the thing directly. This is, okay, if I'm being, correct about the way I do my development, I should be making these changes in a different plugin for version control. Am I going to bother with that right now, or am I just going to do it directly in Ultimate Skyrim ESP? Let me think for a second if it's going to matter. I kind of feel like I can get away with not doing it, but it's definitely not best practice. What we're talking about here is I'd have to... Whatever changes I'm making, instead of making them in the original plugin, I'd have to make them in a different plugin. And then I would have to... I'll eventually merge those changes into the core. There's hundreds of USSP floating around people's systems. It's not that I can't... Finn, it's not that I won't know, or won't have access, to non... changed versions of Ultimate Skyrim. It's that I won't have a plugin that is a comprehensive list of changes from 4.06 to 4.07. How do you feel about attributes like strength, intelligence, dexterity, wisdom, charisma? To be honest with you, I think that they are, the idea of attributes as an abstraction of your abilities is fine, because that's the same thing that a skill tree is, right? At the core level, there's, in theory, no fundamental difference between, a skill called charisma than there is a skill that's lockpicking. You know what I mean? It's a way of representing the character's abilities. Same thing, if I have a series of numbers that are supposed to be a representation of my character's, efficacy in each category, that's what a skill tree is, right? Like that's what skills are in Elder Scrolls. So in that sense, you know, I don't mind. Yeah, see Hazard, I could create the Delta patch. So in theory, I'd have a way to change it there. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to exit out. Let's just, for the sake of, because this shouldn't be that extensive of a patch, let's try and experiment. We'll do it the right way, and we'll see how it feels. And then, because if you don't create like a separate patch anyway, and you're making the changes, you can forget, and then you can make the Delta patch, but then you like don't, like maybe you didn't make all the changes, or you forgot one, or the correct way to do it, I feel like from the software development standpoint, is to make all the changes in a separate plugin so that you know what's up. So I'll do it because I'm supposed to be a professional developer now. Quote unquote. Just found a mod on Nexus that adds Azeroth as a new lands mod in Warcraft's art style. Interesting. Jeez. What the heck? Is it just like a world space to run around in? And just explore? That could be fun. I tried to describe Skyrim modding as a hobby to someone today. It didn't go well. I don't know how you explain to people what you do for a living. It's very tough. Like, oh man. So a lot of the time, depending on who I'm speaking to, I will just say that I'm like a game developer, because I feel like it's like I develop technically something that is a game. Like the purpose of Ultimate Skyrim, of course, is to make the pre-existing game behave almost like a different game. But really, it's like if people, like I say game developer when I think that I just need to give like a basic explanation because people have some understanding of what that means. If they kind of are interested in the more in-depth explanation, I try to start like getting more inside baseball, but it can be very complex sometimes. I'm like, yeah, it's like, you know, I develop this game, but like the core game is a separate IP that I don't own, and but like they allow you to modify their game, so I modify it to the extent that it is a different game, but it's like dependent on the first one, and then they're like, okay, so like how do you sell that? And I'm like, well, I can't sell it directly, but I just essentially have patrons who like support the work like monetarily, so there's no like direct thing, or like I want to do like merchandise or whatever, right? But like that's the only way that I can make money on it otherwise. And they're just like, oh, some people are really into the idea, some people have no idea what I'm talking about. It's complex, but I don't know. I think most of the time when we talk to people who are closer to our age or have more familiarity with some of the new like career archetypes that have started to crop up over like the past decade or so with like the advent of the internet, those types of people are typically more initially able to understand kind of how it goes, you know what I mean? Some people though, like I just try and read the room, you know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, I'm a game developer, and they're like, oh, okay, cool. That's the simplest way. Let's see. Don't worry, Sacrilegious. Most have their own in-depth interests, and everyone else do not really understand. Same. Oh God, I think that's true for all of us. Absolutely. We got that gamer energy. Quote unquote, people just give me money. That is one way of looking at it. I am Loams 1909. Are you on the Ultimate Skyrim team? Yes, I am. I'm actually the originator. It's okay. I love to hear you guys' perspective. How much of Ultimate Skyrim on SE do you think is going to break when Skyrim has an update? Lots. That is, I'm trying to evaluate options for not having the game auto update, because that's going to be a big problem for us. Hopefully we'll be able to institute a method by which the game does not auto update. You have to opt in and individually do it yourself, or not individually, specifically do it yourself. Hey, I still think it sounds better than asking an ASMR streamer what they do. I scratch a pillow and people throw money. Fair. I mean, frankly, they're not that different. You know what I mean? Someone does ASMR with their microphone and sets up. It takes effort, I'm sure. We do Skyrim modding. I do like the idea of a world in which people can find patrons, we'll call it, like the true word, not just people on Patreon, but like patrons in the classic sense, right? Like this is how it was for artists and whatever. It's like you find someone who's doing something that you like, that adds value, that you appreciate, whatever it is, and you can pay them and just to support their work. I really like that idea. I like the idea. And, you know, adding incentives for doing that is really fun too. A lot of people who I follow have stuff like that. It's, you know, that's essentially what Patreon is. I really like that idea, provided, of course, that the work that anyone is doing does not harm anyone and stuff of that nature. I told an old person I work in film. She asked me what theater I worked at. Oh boy, that's great. Yeah, see, it's like what that means to different people, it just, you never know. That is really funny. I like that a lot. And you just kind of smile and nod. You're like, oh, you know, I work at the theater down the street. It's like, what are you going to do? Explain the entire concept of like the film industry. Setting SSE and Steam to update on launch and only launching via SKSE gets around updates. Okay, cool. Dylan Perry Patreon only ASMR modding stream. Dude, perfect. I've been sitting here, you know, because like I've been sitting here trying to figure out different incentives, right? For, you know, my Patreon, or if I branch off and do it on my own. There we go. ASMR modding stream. Perfect. I've also tossed the idea at Meth about Automaton having a way to auto backup the SSE EXE. Oh, that would be cool. It might theoretically be possible through the what's it called, through binary patching too. Like you might, even if it updates, I mean, it might be possible to revert it using binary patching to the other one. Get your boners ready, quote unquote. I get paid doing my hobby. What is a job if not something? I mean, it's like, what's the difference between a job and a hobby? It's, I think it's if someone's willing to pay you for it. I thought you can disable auto updates in Steam. I believe you can, Anordil. I'm just trying to, like, more and more I want to make the install as one click as possible. So if we can find a way to like automate the process of preventing those updates, that's kind of like what I'm talking about. Tiny fewer soccer nerds, more people enjoy soccer, most like the social stuff and just go along. Same psychology all over the interest fields. We are ultimate Skyrim nerds. Totally true. Totally. I mean, it's like me. It's like, I like soccer. I don't know shit about teams and the history of, you know, the players of like where they've been. I don't follow it enough to know like who's who and which teams are good and what the latest matches are and so on and so forth. But I think it's awesome. I think that I played a lot of FIFA in college, and I love watching soccer. I like watching it with Liz's brothers because they're very into soccer. So I'm tangentially participant in the whole shebang. Most people enjoy Skyrim, and many have had a passing interest. I'd say it's kind of crazy. This is what I will say for Bethesda. And I've said this to my friends and people ask me about it. I think starting with Morrowind and really starting with Todd, I really think that Todd, from what I understand, was kind of the originator of this initiative, we'll call it. I think that Todd has focused a lot of his efforts on making role-playing and making, you know, the kind of role-playing that Elder Scrolls does more accessible. And in that initiative, they have been wildly successful. You have so many people, even like going from Morrowind to Oblivion, for example. And of course, it's intrinsically linked to the whole dumbing down argument of Elder Scrolls games, which like in some ways it's almost inarguable. In other ways, it's more debatable. But inarguably, experiences like the Elder Scrolls and Fallout and just these massive role-playing experiences have been made way, way more accessible. You have millions of players playing these kind of experiences that were formerly really only interesting to a much, much smaller subset of people. And admittedly, that comes at a cost in many ways. The smaller subset of people is oftentimes not super stoked about some of the changes that are made in the name of accessibility, but like it seems to me inarguable that Todd and his team have managed to capture so many more players and get them interested in these role-playing experiences. They he did that really well. The perfect example to me is that I had one of my good friends in college. He's a very sports guy. He's kind of like a gamer, but he's, the kind of gamer who plays a lot of Madden, plays a lot of FIFA, plays the latest yearly release of Call of Duty, just more of a casual gamer in that, and like never really touched RPGs of any kind. I'll never forget when I went into his room and he'd been playing Skyrim, and he'd been, like he had a character, and he was not tremendously far along at this point, but he was engaged and he was interested and he was doing it. And you go and look at the Skyrim subreddit, and there are tons and tons. It's like a huge subreddit of people whose only exposure to the game has just been playing it in the vanilla state on console, and they've had a wonderful time and they love it. And they don't know about mods maybe, or they don't care about mods or whatever. You have a lot of quote unquote normies, more than, and just I use that term in comparison to us, like hyper nerds when it comes to this stuff. It's like, to me, it is, I don't know if it's a good thing. I can't pass any sort of like judgment on it, because obviously, like I said, it comes at a cost. And like now, arguably Bethesda doesn't really make the sort of games, at least at a technical, like systems level, at a mechanical level, that I'm interested in anymore. Which is why, like, I do something like this, or it's why I think a lot of us are modders, because they're not out of the box. Maybe the setting of Skyrim is cool, but like the gameplay, it's not for us anymore. So we try really hard to change it. So that's the cost there. Like I said, I can't say if it's good or bad, but it's something. More people enjoy Skyrim. Many have had a passing interest. Hello. Sacrilegious thing is, if you cater to a greater audience, you risk alienating the core fan base. Is absolutely true. And then, unfortunately, the reality, I think, in a lot of instances is that this isn't always true, but when the core fan base, if we're talking purely, from a business standpoint, which hopefully you're never just talking pure business, but for the sake of conversation, just looking at the business element from it, if, the core fan base is responsible for this much of your market share, and the changes that you're making are capturing this market share, and all the people who are here are consistently still buying your product, then alienating that core fan base, who frankly still is buying your product, doesn't really have too much of a consequence for them. You know what I mean? It's kind of like they get the best of both worlds in that way. My issue is when you focus more from a purely commercial standpoint. I mean, oh shit, hold up. Why can I not scroll up my chat? There we go. Love Skyrim and Fallout. My issue is when you focus more on the wider accessibility, you kind of throw aside the hardcore type people. Absolutely. I mean, that's us, and then we sit here and do all this stuff, but like, I don't know. I guess I don't mind that much. It's giving me a job, so to speak. They're great at mainstreaming the Elder Scrolls, which has its benefits, like not fucking up an entire quest line like in Morrowind. However, a side effect is each game becoming more and more simplified. It's very true. Chill Banana Hazards. I'm not a nerd. Bug fixing, just loading xEdit edition. Yeah, sorry. I'll get back on it. I just get so distracted. You guys know how I am. I like talking. Wolfie Kid, hello. Loams, Ian Loams, have you seen Enderall? I have seen it. I'd like to play it. And one of these days I'm going to do it. I should do it on stream. Sacrilegious, it's a canvas for us to paint on. Exactly. It's very true. So even though the game, perhaps out of the box, is not quite... Maybe it's the best of both worlds, because the people who don't mind the shallow game, we'll call it, hot take there, still get their vanilla Skyrim, and the rest of us get a canvas on which to paint. I think most of us enjoy like the modding element to some regard. And then, like people like us can, for the people who are interested in the setting of Skyrim and interested in modding Skyrim, but don't want to learn how to do all this crazy shit that we have to learn how to do to really mod it. Now we have other tools. We have things like, Automaton and Wabbajack and all these things that are allowing us to bring that heavy modded experience to people, to just consumers, or to users who would be interested but don't have the time to do all that stuff themselves. Does anyone know why my enhanced blood textures have square blood pools after I kill someone? I'd have to see a picture pug. That's why I'm more excited for Beyond Skyrim than Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, I kind of am too, Pyrotech. There's definitely kind of this feeling, I think, amongst a lot of us that... I'm excited to see what Elder Scrolls 6 is. I don't have a whole lot of reason to expect that it'll be that different from like Skyrim from the gameplay perspective. I don't think that they'll suddenly start catering to a hardcore subset, which is kind of more what I am. Maybe they'll manage to hit like a through line, but of course anytime you try and make something for everybody, you can very easily end up making something for nobody. Nerd, someone who has an in-depth interest and thus taken the time to drill deep into a subject. It's absolutely true. Rangda says, I've always felt Bethesda doesn't really release a game. They release a toolkit to make a game. Their games always feel half done, and mods help fill in what Bethesda doesn't do. I think it's very true. And see, you have for that huge subset the huge market of people who don't know any better or who don't have any interest in like any of the mods or whatever, that kind of like half-finished game is enough for them. So you could argue it's smart on Bethesda's part to do things in that way, like when they're releasing like a game that is like, it's, you know, there is a game there, it works more or less, it just works. Even if, let's take Skyrim as an example, even if the quest lines are like pretty fucking shallow, even if, you know, the Civil War is like a shell of a quest line, even if the main quest isn't that great, even if nothing is frankly really all that great, it works well enough. You can beat it. It'll make you feel like a big, powerful, dragonborn, power fantasy, whatever. And for a lot of people, that's all they need. And for the rest of us who are not satisfied with that experience, we have the toolkit, as you've said, and we have the canvas, as Sacroletti has said. And we can kind of, yes, Skyrim is not a good game, but it is a wonderful platform. Positive comment guy. Patreon only Enderall stream. I've considered doing like exclusive content for, you know, like Patreon. I just don't know if that's the kind of thing that people would want. And of course there's a time investment. Skyrim is love, even though it has been very disappointing in the past few weeks. It's because we're all autistic. It could be, honestly, I don't know. Stop killing squares. Hilarious. Sacroletti, same here. Redfall. Yeah, maybe some of us have a tendency that way, but I think nerddom is more likely. The Redfall leaks were fake, I believe. It does seem like they are. It's plausible that could be. I don't know. I'm interested to see where it's going to be, because that little mini trailer, it looks like, what else could it be besides like Hammerfell or High Rock? I don't know. For me, ES6 doesn't exist until they make an announcement, because I'm sure it's many years out. You know they did announce it though, right? You saw that little mini trailer? It just works, lol. I really hope that beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil allows the Dragonborn to vie for the seat of Emperor. Would be interesting. I mean, God knows they want you to be the super powerful figure in all the games now, so could be. It works like Tude says. Enhanced blood through Steam is whack, but I don't know why it would be like that through Nexus. Yeah, I don't install anything through Steam. Plot, what are we testing tonight? We're bug fixing at the moment. I think your plugins have finished loading. I don't know, man. I think they're still loading. Skyrim was more polished and perfect. I don't think it would have lasted in popularity as long as it has. Maybe not. It's an interesting idea. Like, God knows us modders like to complain sometimes. Like, ugh, like, can you believe this Bethesda game, like, has this problem? God, gotta go in and fix it. And everyone's like, oh, that guy's fixing that problem. It definitely kind of creates a community out of this mutual, it's like someone's got to be the enemy kind of thing. You know what I mean? I dislike becoming leader of every faction, totally. Or like, I don't mind it if I could plausibly do that. Like, I think that being the leader of a faction should require the requisite skills. I don't like that I can be the leader of the Mages Guild without ever casting a spell or doing anything like that. So silly. Alright, so we've made literally 2 record changes thus far. Magic effect. Guys, the music is going nuts. Matt is a god. Matt, there's a fan theory that he's like a Bethesda developer who's just like doing stuff in his spare time because no one seems to have the insights that he has into the engine. He's wild. I'm standing up, everybody. Gotta get some stretching. Wait here, let me crack my back. Hold on. Oh. I don't know if you guys could hear those ones. Whew. I like what Immersive College of Winterhold does. You can give up Archmage and just be a normal college student. Yes. It's not like becoming a leader of any of them means anything. That's also true, which sucks. It's like when you're the leader of a thing, that should... Or like when you even join a faction, this is something we've really tried to do with Ultimate Skyrim, is like there should be commensurate bonuses. You know, it's like no one joins a faction in real life just for no reason. There's always some reason, even if that reason is just a sense of belonging or whatever. But everyone it's like we do stuff for a reason. There is some sort of value, intrinsic value that we're getting somewhere, and there's not in vanilla Skyrim. Like, what's the point of joining the college? What's the point of joining the companions? What's the point of joining the Thieves Guild? It's literally just to play through the storyline, which frankly the storylines are not amazing by any means. To me, joining a faction, an organization like that, should confer some sort of useful, tangible benefit. That's something we've really, really tried to do. Ow. I mean, and you get, like, maybe you just get immersion out of it, and that's kind of related to, like, the story. But to me, what's more immersive than having services and cool stuff be available to you that is exclusive, you know, or something that only that faction could do, like, realistically? DA10. Okay, what is this? Magic effects. Boom. Dun, dun, dun. Oh yeah, only point of the companions is getting the werewolf power. Unless you mod it, getting that is even not really worth it. Yeah, werewolf kind of sucks out the gate. But you're right, at least that's something. But also it's like, okay, canonically, there's other ways to become a werewolf. Why do I have to become a companion to become a werewolf? And like, if logically that's the case, then the companions need something a bit better. Editor ID. I'm stretching my leg. Join the Legion, never get a paycheck. Exactly. Bit of parody about becoming the Archmage from the Senile Scribbles. I was watching that the other day, Hazard. I didn't watch like the whole thing. But it was really funny. Brynjolf offering you leadership on Quest 9 is so jarring. Oh yeah. God, it is very... I get so distracted, guys. I'm like a golden retriever sometimes. Okay. Okay. I got it. DA10. Here we go. DA10 blessing effect, curse effect. So we're going to get rid of both of these. Remove. Boop. And we got... The entire reason that I restarted was so that I could not make these same changes. I'm ridiculous. I'm sorry. Now I know what I'm doing. I'm focused. I'm laser focused. I've got it. I know what the plan is. You guys can keep chatting. I'll catch up in a bit. I'm on it. Focus. You can fuck up Brynjolf's test and still get in. Because the game, God forbid that the little baby player is told no. Or given some sort of consequence in any way. Morrowind is really awesome in that way, but all the voice acting increased the cost of creating in-depth quests. Yeah, I would so much rather... Don't get me wrong, I think the voice acting really does add a lot. And I actually noted, like, when I was kind of dabbling in ESO, I was like, hey, it's very cool that, you know, all these characters... It kind of does invest you in the stories maybe a bit more. But it comes at a significant cost. I'd rather just have it Morrowind style, where you have, you know... you just have a, like, maybe a voice acted intro and then everything else is text. It's so much more flexible and you can do so much more stuff with it. I would very much rather have that. Okay, I got DA10, curse message, ultimate Skyrim. That's actually what I'm looking for. So now, here's what we're going to do. Proper version control, everybody. I'm going to have this be... I could make it an ESL, honestly. Why not? Oh, actually, no, I can't, because this is not special edition. Wow. Dusting off Yield Legendary Edition muscles. We'll call this 4.0.7. What should I call this? I should come up with a name for some changes. I don't know. Let's call it changes 4.0.7. Can I have periods in the name? Really tried to love ESO, but I couldn't. Same. Wolfie Kid, have you looked at more invisible barriers to fix the open cities thing? Yes, I downloaded it. A couple people recommended that to me. Alright, I'm going to refocus here, catch up on chat. Nerfing. Guys, you guys are... please trust, I love your chats. I try to reply to all of them, and I can't do it. I don't know how people like Bailey and do it. They're like playing permadeath Ultimate Skyrim while also catching up on all the chat. You guys are nuts. Keep it simple, stupid. Emil Pagliarulo. Oh, Emil. I remember chatting with him on a forum, on an Oblivion forum back in the day. Seems like a nice guy, but you know, I mean, I liked the Dark Brotherhood questline in Oblivion, which I know he was responsible for, but I know he's responsible for a lot of other stuff. Notice the same with ESO. The voice acting is pretty good. The quests are a bit shallow. It seems like you can't really have it both ways, you know? Can't wait for Ultimate Skyrim SE. Fortunately, graphics in LE are glitching, and I don't have knowledge to fix it after playing a little bit. Other mod lists are too easy. It's rough, isn't it? Tried to love ESO, but I couldn't. I'd love ESO more if it was single player and less MMO-y. Yes, anything vanilla Skyrim is destroyed after US/Requiem. New Solitude does really look good in ESO, though. Ooh, I'd like to see that. Speedrunners constantly chatting is insane to me. Oh, yeah. Same. I mean, I guess at that point, you're just so... I mean, for a lot of things, you know, they'll be like, when you watch AGDQ, they're like, all right, I need quiet time for this part because it's really technical. For the rest of them, they have, I think, just such intense muscle memory from just the skills that they've acquired to where it's not quite as taxing for them. That's the only explanation I can think of. ESO, you were the chosen one. Yes, you. Yes, only you can save us, along with a million other players. This is my exact issue with those games. I don't mind, like, suspending my disbelief for, like, a single-player game. It's so much harder to do in a multiplayer game, because you really are. It's like, you're the chosen one. It's like, you got the special sword, you killed the warlock and, like, saved the town. Like, you got the special sword, and you're like, oh. And you walk away, and you turn around, and you watch some dude behind you get, like, the exact same sword for killing the exact same warlock. And you're just like, huh. Weird. It's like somehow it cheapens the experience somewhat in my mind. Alright, record flags. Deleted. Look, Sacrilegious, I'm deleting. Here's an instance in which you actually want to use the deleted flag, because those will be, we're going to delete those. Alright, we got a message, and then we got magic effect. Got DA here and here. I'm going to copy his override into our changes. I'm going to pass out because I've said too many words and now there's no oxygen left in my body. Bop. Oops. I just hit both flags on either side of that. Oh boy. It's bloody annoying. Morrowind was not like that until you'd actually done something. Yep. And I mean, Morrowind has its problems, don't get me wrong. Like, some of the stuff when I've gone back, I've been like, oh man, I forgot it was like this. But I'll take whatever problems it has any day because it also behaves that way, plot. It's like, it does make you work for stuff. Stuff feels, this is like the probably like one of the core design, if not the core design principles, pillars of US is like, just make things matter. Like, make things feel impactful. Make people work for stuff, and then when you get it, you gotta get that sense of pride and accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? But also the reward is not just the pride and accomplishment. It's just you have that additionally. That's one of the two MMO tropes. The other is you have to go do this right now, but we'll wait as long as you want. Oh, for sure. I hate that in like Skyrim games too. It's like the dragons are attacking. Like, we have to save it, and it's like, are they? If I fuck off and go pick a bunch of flowers for, you know, I don't know, a year, like, is everything gonna change? Like, is the dragon gonna burn down the town, or is it gonna be exactly the same as if I just, you know, done it immediately? It's a false sense of urgency. At least when Skyrim beats you over the head about being Dragonborn, you really are the only one who can save them. That is true. That's why it kind of works better in a single-player game, even if it is a little bit rote. But Mirak, open-world RPGs in general, suffer from the do-it-now. Yeah, or 10 weeks from now, no big deal. Were you ever a fan of Knights of the Old Republic RPG games? Yes. I never beat 2. I never beat 1, actually, but I watched a million playthroughs of it. And I almost beat it, and then for some reason I stopped. ESO, remember you're the chosen one because this is a single-player game. Yeah, see, like, ESO, it's confusing to me. It kind of doesn't know what it wants to be. Maybe in some ways it's the best of both worlds. In other ways it has the weaknesses of both. I guess that kind of makes sense. Games I played, Majora's Mask is the only one that actually gave me a sense of urgency. Absolutely, but and it made sense. And that sense of urgency, like, it did exist, Finn, because there was like if you started a dungeon, right, and you didn't have enough time left, or you almost had enough time left, you had to kind of make that decision where you're like, fuck, like, okay, I think I can do this. I think I can do this in this amount of time. It's going to be close, but like I think I can. And so you make that decision, and then the entire time you're running through the dungeon or whatever, you're like, fuck. And like every mistake is like amplified because you're like, oh shit, I have a limited amount of time here, because there's a consequence. You have to restart completely if you don't do it in time. I remember thinking that was so... I remember distinctly being in the Great Bay Temple, being like right up against the wire and trying to like run through all the different rooms and like forgetting which room was where and being like, shit, like, no, I'm not gonna make it. And it was pretty fun. Some people really hate that. Like I remember Tyler was telling me he can never get into Majora's Mask specifically because he felt like he was always under the thumb. So of course it's not everyone's ideal experience, but they did manage to create that sense of urgency very effectively in my mind. Yes, noteworthy. I kind of prefer games that are not time locked like that. Not everyone likes that experience. I don't even like that experience like 100% of the time. I did like Majora's Mask. It's one of my favorites. And I think they did a great job of creating that sense of urgency of games. A timer would be great to fix quests like that. Absolutely. As a completionist, it makes me sad when I fail quests because I didn't get to them in time, like in Kingdom Come. Yeah, it really depends on what kind of experience you're aiming for. You know, I totally see the appeal as well, and like I want to be able to do everything on every character. I don't want to be locked out of content. There's benefits to that too. I get it. It's like it's a lot of fun to just have this massive amount of content to get through at any pace that you like. Just different approaches, you know. Okay, so we got these, right? We got these two. God, I'm going to make terrible changes here. I know it. Because I'm so confused. Oh my god, look at all these magic effects. What do we call it? Changes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, just double checking. Dun, 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 dun. Only single player content has any trace of challenge is the Maelstrom Arena. All the overworld stuff is so easy now with one Tamriel. I miss the old veteran zones. Seem to recall one of the early Ultima games, 2 or 3, had a fairly big quest at a time limit on it, or if you took too long, it failed. Seems very Ultima, old school. And you guys played Project Gorgon at all? Seems interesting, right? If only the graphics weren't quite as rudimentary as they are. I wish it had like a better UI and performed better, and there's a whole lot of things I would hope for, but it's a very small team. I think they have a lot of cool ideas as far as MMOs go. What am I doing? Get out of here, magic effect. So we got that package. Let me just take a look here. We're going to completely twirl these down. Easy. No sweat. Logrolf runaway package. Okay. Package. I got a package for you right here. It's another thing I loved about... Hey, Ring, how you doing? Sorry, I didn't realize that was you talking. I somehow skimmed right over it. Another thing I loved about Daggerfall, you can't just fuck off for 3 years and the main quest is waiting for you. Absolutely. You and me, bro. Here we go. Copy as override. Changes. We're going to go, oops, edit, deleted. I'm going to give this a nice save real fast. Delete from record. What is this from? I wish that there was a way to notate within records the way you can with code. That's one big feature that I would really love from xEdit. Just being able to add like a little note section. Maybe I can ask Elminster if they can add something like that. I would be so happy. It's not so much of a problem. So here's a big problem that we ran into with how many plugins were merged into the original Ultimate Skyrim plugin, is that sometimes you would have changes that you couldn't really trace. Like, for example, this one. I don't remember doing this. What is this? Guard Solitude Range Training Package. I don't remember where this change came from. It doesn't really look like my style of change, so it was probably a patch that was merged, but I don't know, because the patch isn't enabled anymore, and there's no record of it. It's not coming from this. So you can't tell if it's a proprietary change versus something that came from a patch. It's very difficult to tell sometimes. That's why ESLs are really nice on special edition, because you can leave more plugins enabled. You have to merge less, which makes the tracking of changes a bit more obvious. But I think in addition to that, it would be really nice being able to kind of have a little notation section. Did I delete it already? I think I did. Lil Grolf, my man. How to Save the World from Dragons 101. Dragonstone tablet bad. Alright, so we got that one. We got DA10 AB Blessing. No, I'm here. DA10 Blessing Perk. This one, okay, here's a non-proprietary. Well, let's do this in order so I don't get ahead of myself. Stendar's Mercy, DA10. Package. That was a spell, right? No. Yes? Perk. Oh, where did that jump me? Oh, did I change that to something else? Perk. DA10. Oh, it's right here. That's weird. Maybe make an unreferenced record that serves as a comment. That's how you have to do JSON comments. You kind of can't ring. I mean, just the problem with making changes in plugins to records is that or like you could if you loaded it not last, but it'll get very confusing very quickly. The problem with these kinds of things is that, like, let's look at this for example. Only the rightmost plugins data actually gets loaded into the game. So if you make an entire other record just for notation, it'll get a bit odd. You'd have to have like a notation kind of plugin. It's semi-viable, but I don't know. I feel like there'd be a better solution. All right, fellow modders, I have to leave for now. See you guys next stream. Thanks for stopping by, Chill Banana. Much appreciated as always. All right, what are we doing? DAB, Blessing Perk, Copy as Override, Changes. Ow, that was loud. Edit, deleted. I'm gonna sneeze. Sneezed. Dude, here we go. Now, I think our copy is override. Just don't yell at me. Deleted. And then we got the scene, Logrolf, run away. Scene. Where are we at? One of these days I'm going to get better at... Yeah, I don't see scene record types tremendously often. Not since MySpace, of course. One of these days, I was going to say, I'll get better at multitasking, but that day is not today. I'm sure maybe it just comes with time. I remember Balian told me that. It just takes practice to be able to manage chat and actually work at the same time or like do something. DA10 AB Blessing. These are spells. And then we got a weapon. DA10 Rusty Mace. DA10 spells. Here we are. Here we are. Playing in the background. Linkin Park in the end. Oh yeah. I remember when I was like in 7th grade, I had created like a mental storyboard for a music video that I wanted to make for that song that I thought was going to be like super deep and insightful, and it was literally just like a music video about like a guy whose girlfriend broke up with him and he wanted to get back with her, but like she wouldn't return his calls, and like he's sad, and like that was literally the entire story of the whole thing. Maybe the shots would have been good, but not all that moving. To be fair, I went to college for film, and the stuff that we made in college was not that much more, not that deep, not much more deep. Very film student. I think I literally did the same thing. That's awesome, Ring. We should team up and then bring these ideas into reality. They were always meant to exist. Oh, Rusty Mace. That's right. Ah. This one will probably be different. Huh. Might be easier to search for it this way. Sacrilegious. Well, today I killed a lot of Ogress warriors in OSRS while doing nav meshing on another monitor. Okay, one of these days I'm going to join you and actually jump back into OSRS, because you can do other things while playing a game. Like, that is cool. It's not everyone's cup of tea, I understand, but like AFK stuff can be fun in a game. It's like Eve, right? With your passive skill training, or like Black Desert Online. Where are we at? Rusty Mace. Here we go. Oh, this is a vanilla record. Shit. Fine. Copy as override. Changes. Whoa. I am going to make no changes to this. I'm just going to delete my info. Okay, now I believe some things are semi-AFKable in OSRS. Why are you not using jump to from the right-click menu in the UltSky column instead of manually searching for the record on the left side? What do you mean hazard? What I'm doing right now is I'm just comparing the two records. I'm comparing, the plugins, just to make sure that I'm comprehensively getting all the records. What are you specifically talking about? Like jump to this way? Because if I'm selecting the records in, what's it called? The other plugin. Like if I'm selecting the record, this one, I didn't realize that it was a, what's it called? A vanilla record. I assumed that it was just a proprietary one, but for these ones, I can't do that, right? I would have to, like, I can't jump to anything here. I have to manually scroll down. This one I could have, though. I just didn't realize. All right, I think that's everything comprehensively. Let's see. Well, cool. That should be everything. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to move the House of Horrors progression block to testing. And we're going to see later if that works. But now we have other stuff to do. Some smiths and enchanters still have borked skill values because their auto-calc stats flag. Actually, I should probably just stay in there. Okay, that's easy. No sweat. I'll probably do just a couple more of these, and then maybe we'll jump back to researching some additional mods for SSE, because I think that doing this kind of work is still outside my realm of capability in terms of multitasking. And this kind of stuff is fairly detail-oriented. You need to... I don't want to fuck things up while I'm bug fixing, cause more bugs. Make a defense pure, then you can AFK in some dungeons and level attack or strength completely AFK until the monster is no longer AOS. Nice. We need a mod where rusty weapons are super effective if you don't have a tetanus potion. I'm down. You give someone a tetanus disease. Or give someone rabies. I'm going to use like a rat as a weapon. I'm just going to hold him up and like sink his teeth into enemies. Or maybe... can you weaponize rabies? I wonder how that... Yeah, throwable rats. I want to focus on this. Showcasing SE stuff is more chill. All right, we'll do like a couple plugins just right now. Or a couple edits. My God. My brain. Ashes has fixes. That one I'm definitely going to hold off on. Are we gutting it? I saw you say that earlier too, Hazard. We should probably just gut Hazard. But then we don't get to use all the fixes that you were so kind as to build for us. We'll figure it out later. Some smiths and enchanters still have borked skill values because their auto-calc stats flag is still enabled. That one we can fix. List of smiths and enchanters with auto-calc stats flag enabled, which overrides their crafting level setting. Actually, you know what? This is too intricate. I'd rather be able to focus on this. All right. I'm feeling conflicted. Yeah, it kind of sucks when we don't really have like a better death kind of alternative in there. Get it? Death alternative. But I don't know. Casabro, I like xEdit stuff in general, but the font being unreadable. Oh, is the font unreadable? Oh no, probably because it's in 720p, huh? Welp, that sucks. That would make it a lot less interesting. Toss it out. That's probably what we'll end up doing. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, guys, here's what I'm going to do. I think that's enough xEdit. No, I mean, you're probably not alone. Case of brat. You should be able to do 1080 with 6K bitrate. I'll do that for the next stream for sure, now that my internet is not quite so bad. Although yesterday it was still giving us some trouble. Some smiths and enchanters still have skill borked skill values. That's fine. All right. Boom. Bright Spears, Dark Blood. Thank you, Ellie. So we got some xEdit in there. The rest I'll do on my own time. Why don't we pop back open Special Edition? And probably... So we're going to check. So I stream at 720p FPS, or 720p 30 FPS at 2500 bitrate. I remember you were saying that, Sacrilegious. Frankly, with the internet they're giving you, I'm surprised that that's viable even. We got to, one of these days, don't quote me on this, we're just going to firebomb all the ISPs. Really don't quote me on that. I'll be on a watch list. It's like, I'm not serious, FBI. Totally. And Dylan, I thought I should mention, Finn found an exploit with the Jaren root you get in the DB quests. You can plant it at Helljarken Farm and make a poison that does 1k damage. I saw that he posted that. Oof, that's a big exploit right there of sorts. We'll have to make sure that we patch that up. Just firebomb Helljarken Farm. Okay, what do we got going here? So last we left off, we evaluated these. They were real nice, right? That was when we were doing the VHR. That's where we found those. Where are we at? There's so many mods that I have downloaded. Excuse me. Ah! Where is it? V. Vampire Fett. Oh, I gotta sort by name here. V. VHR Foam Mod Installation. World Editions. This is what it was, right? Yes, it was. So I think I went through all of these now. Sweet. And we don't actually need to install them anymore because there's a different method, for patching. Ring knows how I make all my gold. We'll give you other ways to make gold ring as well. One shot Alduin with the Jaren root. We'll give you other ways. Finn, the Jaren root expert now, he's preparing a potion that will one-shot Mirak. I still haven't done any of that content, to be honest with you. Like, not myself. Sacrilegious, do you stream often? Or what am I saying? Of course you don't. You look like a YouTuber. What? I was in Sacrilegious' stream the other day. I don't know how often he does, though. You look like a YouTuber. Sound like a YouTuber. What's up, guys? It's your boy, Dylan here. Make sure to smash that like, subscribe button. It's really cool if you make sure you hit that bell for notifications, and you'll get notified every time I'm online. Where are we at? Patch Wyco. This one we don't need. No. Is that it? Guess that's it. All right. Well, VHR, thank you very much for all your mod suggestions. Now, Sacrilegious, you're up. We're going to look at all your suggestions and go through and evaluate them because they're very cool. I'm going to bring my Google Drive up. What time is it? 2:07. All right, guys, we got about an hour, a little less. Let's see what we can get done. What's up, Wildy? Hey, how you doing? There is a mod that lets you buy a Jaren root for the Khajiit caravan on occasion. See, I like that. I just don't know that we actually might have it like that as is. You probably shouldn't be able to grow it infinitely, at least not without some other consideration. Merged mods list. You guys want to see my Animal Crossing planner that I made for myself? Check it out. It's a grid. It's a grid that's very bright, and you can use it to figure out where to lay stuff out. Right? Fun. Merged mods list. Here we go. So last I was looking through Solitude, Alternative Courtyard, Blue Palace. I have a question for you, Sakura, since you're here. So you have Alternative Courtyard listed here, and then I know that there is in Solitude Reborn, there's a Courtyard mod as well. Is it, or maybe it's just Enhanced Solitude? I was wondering what you did there. Did you smash them both together, or did you use Alternative Courtyard Blue Palace? Because I like that one quite a lot. Smash and slap that like button. Or how about the ones that are like, it's like, all right, guys, like I'm going to show you how to do this one very basic thing, like in this video game. Like, okay, the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you have the game installed, and like I'll show you how to install the game. It's a really cool change, and they just like bring you all the way up through like 10 minutes of shit that you just does not, like, you don't need it at all. It's like, of course I have the game installed. Like, I know how to do all this stuff. Like, just tell me where the thing is. Like, tell me where to find the weapon. Yeah, 10 minutes in one video. I'm just like, ugh, get away from me. I don't mean to, you know, I respect the hustle. It's tough out there. I get it. And, you know, algorithm changes, but like, ugh, sucks. Ultimate Raid Shadow Legends. Oh yeah, I see, like, sponsorships I don't mind as much, as long as it's like something that the best kind of sponsorship is the kind where you are promoting a product that you actually believe in. That's huge. When you get to do that, fantastic. Sometimes I understand, like, you know, like Raid Shadow Legends, there's people who promote it all the time. If it's something that you might ostensibly play, even, like, all right, fine, like, people got to make money, I get it. But if it's something that you, like, absolutely do not support, would not support, then, like, ugh, please don't promote it. Like, please don't accept that. Or, like, I don't know, do what you want. It just kind of sucks a little bit. Okay, well, Alternative Courtyard, I'm going to leave that one blank then. The ones that I have in green are ones that are actually in there. The ones that I have red are ones that I haven't put in there because either I'm just not going to use them or I have an alternative already. Although, this is like an addition, right? Let me see. Let's make this here. Do you guys not have phones? Playing the jar and root. I use Flux. The white isn't bad for me on the screen. I had it, and then I was like, ugh, got over it. Let me put my glasses back on, I guess. I only got less than an hour. Hopefully the sides of my head can take it. There we go. Let's get this video to 10,000 likes. That's another one for sure. Just found a mod called Frozen Electrocuted Combustion. I think it's going to be permanent. Most immersive combat mod ever. That is a staple for a lot of people, Pyrotech. The issue that some have with it is performance. Just because it adds kind of semi-persistent like effects. But it is cool. Don't forget to join my guild. Yeah, of course. I've seen Rain of Shadow Legends so many times. I hate it now, and I know damn well the majority of people don't play it. Exactly. The worst people is, yes, who promote the CSGO gambling sites, or like fucking like people like, oh my god, like look at the skins that I just got with this loot box. Like, oh my god, impressionable children, you should totally start gambling on these websites. Like, grab your parents' credit card. Ugh. Like all your I think he's done this too. Rice Gum, or like those types. Proud Spire Manor, TNF beds. That's what I'm looking for. TNF beds plus. So does this just add beds to Proud Spire Manor? Or it's like it's a whole original version. Yeah, so I think I already use a version of TNF right now, so I'm going to leave that one out. This is the whole thing. Some bot sent me a whisper to some site. Sounds legit, dude. Should probably just follow up. I'm sure that it's cool. Alternative Courtyard, Blue Palace. Why don't I use like yellow for things that I would like to add in the future? That would be good. Highlight color yellow. Because it does look really cool. I like it a lot. And right now the Solitude Reborn, or the Enhanced Solitude, there it is, has its own courtyard editor, I know, and it looks really nice as well. Let's see if we can get a dank. Here we go. Beautiful. So if we could somehow merge, there's this one, and then the one that Sacroleus has created here, or listed here, Alternative Courtyard Blue Palace, is really rad as well. I like what it does. Oh, it's on special edition. I didn't realize. Check this out, right? Got some water. I like that. Looks a little bit more palatial. You know what I mean? Oh, that's the port. I like it. Plot, you're doing God's work, reporting those bots. Solitude dome painting. Let's check this one out. Why do I can just type it in here. Solitude Dome paintings SSE maybe? I always do that first. Yep. See if there's a port. Any chance you'll add Legacy of the Dragonborn? There's definitely a chance for the future. Definitely not for the first like beta releases. It's just such a consideration. But I mean, I like the concept of it. I would just need to check out the execution, which I've still never done. What I should do is I should download one of the mod packs that have Legacy of the Dragonborn installed. So like maybe Lexi's or something like that. And just kind of test it out in a way that's it's already kind of like taken care of. I want to see. My one problem there too, though, is that it does assume, right, by default that you're Dragonborn. I really like the idea of not being Dragonborn, like Skyrim Unbound style, but my God, does having that cause so many different compatibility problems. That's right, Sacriletius, you made that Legacy of the Dragonborn Bruma patch, which probably was not easy. Lexi's Legacy of the Dragonborn is really good. Eleonora's Breeze Home mod with displays, masks, Daedric artifacts. Better if you don't have Legacy of the Dragonborn. I think I have a different Breeze Home. I like Eleonora's work. It's very static clutter to me. But she's a very good modder. And I mean, I have a lot of other static clutter mods. I just got to go through and manually convert it. This port was already included in my mod list. Exploring Skyrim, huh? Whoa, what? Dome paintings. Wow, look at that. Part of Fikji's mod that adds paintings to the dome of the Blue Palace. Optional retexture that changes them to some Waterhouse masterpieces. I want to see here. I can't quite make it out. I wish there was like some more detailed kind of versions. I wonder how hard it would be to patch Legacy of the Dragonborn to remove all references to the Dragonborn. Like, I would so much... I get the idea of it. It's like, oh, the Dragonborn is creating this, like, legacy, literally, right? And just showing all of the stuff that they managed to do. But I would like it so much more if it was almost just like a museum, you know, like an Animal Crossing style just museum where, like, any adventurer, theoretically, if they were powerful enough, could go and find these things. Like, it doesn't have to be the Dragonborn. Or maybe it does. I don't know, like, what the mythos of the quest is. See, these, like, I'm not quite as into because they look like screenshots. The one that is... Oh, God. That one's kind of cool. Starfield. I like this one. The problem... Clockwork Castle is a section of its museum dedicated to finished quests. Totally. Very nice execution. Personally, I would like to not become leader of the Explorers Guild. I'm with that too, Sacriletius, where it's like, I don't need to be like, can't I just be someone who, like, I'm an adventurer. Adventurers find artifacts. Maybe if an adventurer had a vested interest in, like, the cultural development of Skyrim and Tamriel, they donate those artifacts so that people can peruse them. That would be a fine enough explanation for me. I, of course, understand, like, I don't mean to criticize the premise that the character is Dragonborn, because for the vast majority of players, they are going to be Dragonborn, and I get how that, you know, fits in. So I totally get it. I just, for my own particular purposes, I would like something like that. I have a question for you guys for Legacy. Clockwork Castle seems super cool. Therein, I would worry that, like, so it's a museum, but it's like a personal museum. I like the idea of a public museum, and which was related to my question. Do the citizens of Solitude, or do people, like, sandbox inside the Legacy Museum? Like, do they come and check stuff out and kind of, like, look at things? Because I would be very stoked to see that. That would be, like, it makes me feel like I'm contributing to the learning of everybody. And Juna Nico, is that Nico? What's up, bro? It belongs in a museum. Exactly. Just checked out Clockwork Castle. Looks dope. I heard Animal Crossing. Now I have to lurk and play Animal Crossing. Of course, Wolfie Kid. It's great. I just got you go and get your museum stamps. I did that yesterday. Nico, did you get your museum stamps yet? It was International Museum Day. Go check out all the different areas. The museum in the new Animal Crossing is just so sick. It's amazing what they've done. Yeah, the price sucks. It's not great, but what are you gonna do? I wish it was better. They've kind of dropped the ball there a little bit on some of the event prizes. I'm like, this is stupid. Maybe it'll look nice in like a study. I don't know. Solitude dome painting. So we can add this one, or let's test it out anyway. Waterhouse painting replacer. Sure. Some custom NPCs that show up in the museum, but you won't see, say, Jarl Elisif appear if that's what you're asking. I wouldn't be surprised if that changes with Odyssey of the Dragonborn. What's Odyssey? Is that like an expansion? I've been getting the stamps for the past 3 days. That's what Holds does a lot as well. Rark is it adds its own NPCs to kind of create the illusion of, you know, people. I mean, it works fine because people who are not me won't know that the Holds NPCs, or that's where the NPCs come from. But I always do like making things actually like function together. Like I'd love if, you know, various citizens had packages where they might visit the Legacy Museum every so often. That way it's not just the same people in there all the time. I love stuff like that. Oh, Odyssey is the sequel mod to Legacy. They plan on covering more areas outside of Skyrim. Gotcha. Yay. I would love to see vanilla NPCs visit the museum. Totally. Just so that, like, when you go in there, it wouldn't, like I said, like, you wouldn't just always see the same NPCs. It kind of ruins the illusion, so to speak. You're like, wow. I mean, it's like, hey, only these people are interested in the museum, but they're just always there, and then none of the people who are not them are ever there. I know nothing about modding. How hard would it be to separate just the museum out of Legacy, or is that frowned upon? Well, it depends, and it might be. I mean, some, you know, mod authors are not quite as keen on having their vision chopped up, so to speak. It depends on how the thing is integrated, right? Because it's a whole quest, from what I understand, like a whole quest line. So it might not be, because you can always like take the area and, you know, put it somewhere else and just transfer it into like a different world space or whatever. It's a question of whether or not everything would function, or how much work you'd have to do to kind of redo the parts that allow you to go and collect stuff. I just would need to see how it's implemented. Or it'd be really, really cool if the author, because therein you'd want to kind of lean on the author to hopefully do something like that, which I would not expect in a million years, because God knows with a project like that, you already have so much on your plate. And also creating, you know, quote unquote compatibility for something that only a small fraction of users use, like Skyrim Unbound, would be potentially tough to justify, that is. But it would be super cool. Because they know the project better than anyone. They would know exactly, what changes would need to be made in order to make it friendly to non-Dragonborn characters. I actually like how Legacy of the Dragonborn makes a lot of modded content consistent with each other. I like that too, Sakura. Many mods add stuff that doesn't exist in the base game. It's true. It's like, it depends, once again, on the implementation. RP friendly. Oh, this is a mod list. I gotcha. Oh shit, are we gonna have another big list of mods to evaluate here? Here, let's see. Patches and fixes, interface and utilities. Alternate, sorry, when was the last time this was updated? Oh, recently. Dialogue fix, tweaks. Game asset recycle. Alright, let me favorite this to look at later. Solitude dome paintings. Nice. Museum of Skyrim SE adds a non-Dragonborn specific museum, but it doesn't look like NPC sandbox there. Not sure. Well, so that we can always change. Or same thing with Legacy of the Dragonborn. I can have NPCs. I can edit them and give them sandbox packages so that they will do that. I'm not tremendously experienced in that, but I would like to get better at it anyway. So it would be like a fun project. Sakura, I think, is a bit more experienced there than I am. Whoa, shit. Smack my own microphone into my teeth. Here you go. Waterhouse painting replacer. So we got that, and then we can test those out in a quick second. Pelagius wing, unlit candles. Ooh, that makes sense to me. Why don't I do... I'll just put this over here. Yeah, here, I'll check it out right now. Solitude, Dome Painting, Exploring Skyrim. Let's go to you and you. Did we complete it? Let's get some Stardew Valley in here. How loud is that going to be? There we go. Museum of Skyrim SE. It's in Markarth. Nice. Finally, your own private museum. Tired of not having enough space to store your stuff. Need another mannequin. If only you just had one more weapon rack. Museum is my first mod for Skyrim. Oh, it hasn't been updated in a while. That could be a problem. Goes all the way back to Morrowind. I took over a certain Balmora house to use as a makeshift armory. This looks extensive. The Crossroads is an underground connection to every vanilla player home. Let's see here. That's really nice. Huh. Are you looking at mod requests right now? Yes, always. We're just going through different mods, and Ring found this one. We're trying to find, I don't know, maybe something that would be... Oh, this is interesting. But it's also, it's like, what are these, like wax figurines of humans? Oh yeah, look at that. Wow, that does look cool, don't get me wrong. Maybe it might be worth experimenting with. The benefit of using Legacy of the Dragonborn, of course, is that it is actively supported and there's new features going into it and arguably a lot of cool stuff. I would definitely want to check it out. I wonder... Hold on, let's see here. Skyrim Unbound. See if anything... Yeah, here we go. Parts of it don't unlock, so are only triggered once you progress to a certain point in the main story. One of the first quests you get from the caretaker actually sends you over to Helgen to buy an artifact from the merchant there, but obviously you find it destroyed and trigger the start of the main quest. Also, the mid part of the main LOTDB questline is locked behind getting items from the main quest. Dragon Elder Scroll, Dawnguard DLC, Dragon War DLC, right. So this, it feels like it's designed for, you know, a character who's gonna do everything, and who is absolutely the Dragonborn. And we could always change those quest locks. I'm sure they're just conditions, but at that point it becomes... It might get weird, because, you know, the game itself is gonna assume that you are Dragonborn, that you've done these certain things. It's not like a simple fix. Most likely. Yeah, so there's... Oh no, that's fine. You guys ever played Stardew? It's real good. Patch. Hold on. Non-Dragonborn. Tools. Maybe the past year. Also the already existing patches. Yeah, it's a huge integration nightmare, but it still could be worth it. I mean, I'm happy to spend the time when I feel like it'll be worth the effort. You know what I mean? Oh, here's a Lost Dragonist. Love all the unique displays, galleries, paintings. Provides direction when you're not doing other quests by having you go out and collect stuff. You wish to have quite as many mods completely integrated. Some of them sneak up on you. It took me a while to how much it changes, how many patches it needs. I need to clean save games when you update is scary. Legacy of the fetch quests. You see, like, I don't. To me, it's the fetch quests are like a lot of stuff is a fetch quest in one way or another. It's just something that kind of like contextualize what you're doing, or you know, like I don't mind going and finding some artifact to include. And you know, it's like if the artifact or the thing that you're fetching, quote unquote, is at the end of some dungeon, like that's not even all that different from a lot of the vanilla dungeoneering content. Depends on what you want out of your mods and how much self-control you have. Oh, is this? Yeah, this is the Halloween song. The first quest I got was to find some Daedric boots, but I'm playing with mods that restrict most of the good stuff. Oh, see, this would be a problem. First quest I got was to find some Daedric boots, but I'm playing with mods that restrict most of the good stuff in the game to hand place places, so it's hard to get. In that respect, it's imbalanced. See, I would much rather this... I would rather it work like how Animal Crossing does, right? Where you just, like, you get areas where you can donate stuff. Like, there's an exhibit for, like, the armor sets, right? And various things like that. And just, if you find one, you can bring it and donate. It's not, they're not saying, like, oh, there's a Daedric boots here, or, like, I don't know, maybe... It's tricky, because, like, if they contextualize it properly and you get, like, some quest, be like, oh my god, we found a set of Daedric boots, like this is legendary equipment, we gotta get it, but and like they can direct you towards it that way. But then of course I would want it to be as difficult to acquire in that case as it would be in like Requiem, for example, and I'm pretty sure that's not going to be the case, because vanilla, you know, a Daedric boots, it's not that, like, it's a big deal, but it's not that big of a deal compared to like Requiem, where this is literally like artifact level legendary stuff. Ultimate Animal Crossing. There we go. Player home is busted and costs you nothing, so if that bugs you... Of course, this is 2 years old, these comments. We're going to see the collection grow and grow. Makes all these random... Well, shit. I don't know. We got this museum, but this looks like it's like outside the city somewhere, right? I like the idea of this place being integrated into one of the cities. I could always do that myself. That's not a huge deal. Forge... Not sure if I'm digging like the wax figurines. There's a reason why the Museum of Skyrim is more in line with UltSky's gameplay. It's true. Could be. Let's see, are there any posts? We got what bugs? Departure game at the entrance to the room. Departure game? Do they mean like a crash? Huh. Last thing I did was change the gender of the mannequins. Other than that, I haven't messed with anything. That's fine. A lot of the time, that's other stuff. Dedicated slots for the unique items. Please release for Oldrim. It is on Skyrim Original. It changed category gameplay player homes. This will do until Legacy of the Dragonborn is ready for SSE. If you got the time, there's a dragon overhaul that I use. However, what I specifically enjoy out of the mod is that it has dragons do miscellaneous dialogue as you fight, and they consistently speak their shouts when breathing fire, or use other shouts other than fire or frost. So the only reason why I use the mod, though the combat overhauls aren't too intrusive. Let's check it out, Valerie. Thank you for the suggestion. Oh yeah, Chaos Dragon overhaul. I think I actually have this on my list to evaluate. So no worries on that front. I will definitely be taking a look at this. In fact, I'm sure that I do. Here, let's check on Jira just to make sure. Glad to hear it. Thank you. Of course. KS. Okay, Jira, come on. Yep, right there. Boom. So it is on the list to evaluate. What is this music? This is Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley soundtrack. Oh, you guys want to see something cool? All right, if you'll here, let me nerd out for a quick second. I'll be right back. This right here is one of the 2 releases for the, what was the hardcore song earlier? I thought Stardew Valley was a farm sim. So that song is one of the or a couple of the characters in town, they have a band together, and if you're like friends with all of them, and if you progress your friendship to a certain point, you and a bunch of the other kind of like younger characters will go into the town and you'll watch them perform at a show. And depending on like the input and like the relationship as you guys have developed it, they'll have different, they can have one of 4 different songs. So one of the songs is a hardcore song, one of them is like a bluegrass, one is like an EDM song, and then I believe there's like a more generic rock one or something like that. I actually got the hardcore one in my legit playthrough. So this is the Stardew Valley official release on vinyl. It's really, really cute. The art is amazing, honestly. If you get real close, you can see they got all these different characters and whatever. And the presses are really cool. They are, whoa. There's one for each season. A side and B sides. There's spring, summer, fall, winter. You can see what's on the back. Little art, right? And the coolest part is that the presses are colored vinyl, right? So that one's spring, and then you got, let's see, where summer is, I forget what color summer is. Whoa, oh, it's green, like watermelon. And then you got fall, I believe, is orange. Yeah, beautiful, right? And then winter is a nice kind of blue. It's like a kind of a frosty blue, almost like a purple. I like these very much. This is one of the highlights in my collection because this game is really good for those of you who have never played it. It's a wonderful, wonderful game. Perfect. Get this back in here. Plus 1 million brownie points for vinyl. Oh yeah. Oy, oy, oy. It's not practical, but I don't think anyone expects it to be. Practicality is not what you're going for when it comes to these. Of course. Also, Ring, I feel you on the figurines. I'm right there with you as well. I think I've showed off my what's it called? My amiibo collection. It's over there. You can see it. Here, wait. Whoa. They're over yonder. You can kind of see them. Whoa, this is hard to angle. There's a bunch over there. I got a couple on the shelf over here, too. Over yonder. That's like most of my Animal Crossing amiibos. Mostly just because I ran out of space in the other one. I think I saw on your Instagram. Yes, sir. I got a bunch. I think those are the ones from Japan that we got. We're very lucky to be able to grab those. Amiibos are a lot less rare. Or there's a lot of rare amiibos that you can get more easily in Japan. Definition of nerddom: watching some dude pretend to patch mods because he's too distracted to work while drinking a beer. Oh yeah. Well, we're all right there with you. Okay. Let's see here. So Legacy, interesting question. I would very much like, because it's such a, man, it's like the idea of asking this mod author, Ice Cream Assassin, to make accommodations for, you know, non-Dragonborn characters when that's just really not like a part of vanilla. It's tough. So I don't know. Maybe we can do the work ourselves if we ever decide to add it in there. I would like to do one of the, you know, very soon, maybe on tomorrow's stream. Here's what I'll do. Here's what I'll do in the meantime. This will be a cool concept for a stream. I'm going to play through Lexi's, or I'll install it and I'll get it kind of set up. And then we can kind of jump through and check out Legacy of the Dragonborn ourselves and have some of that first initial exposure to it. How does that sound? Everybody. Solitude dome painting. So I got to test this one, Pelagius Wing. Wow, I really get sidetracked, don't I? Ooh, I like this idea. That's great. Hell yeah, that's what we'll do then. Solitude. Oh, and then I think tomorrow, that'll be... Once I stream tomorrow, I should be able to do affiliate, or get affiliate status. Solitude, Pelagius Wing, unlit candles. I'm ready for that sub. Oh, you guys are so sweet. For a second, it took me... I was like, huh? I just forgot what I just said. Thank you very much, Valerie. Really appreciate it. I might have a pinging feature set up by stream tomorrow on Discord for Dylan streams. Oh, that's right. Finn is working on a ping feature for the Nazim bot. Ring Comics, you're just now getting affiliate. I'm almost there, and I'm way smaller than you. Ring, it's because I haven't streamed 7 days in out of the 30 that you're required to do. But hopefully by tomorrow. I have my old Twitch account, the Belmont Boy one, is still affiliate. I just couldn't grab the username that I wanted. Okay, let's see here. This one looks like it's only available for LE. Does this just swaps every lit candle with their unlit versions, deletes the warm embers in the chimney? Yeah, this is a problem that the game seems to have in general. I understand that things look a little bland when they don't have any sort of lighting, but if there's no reason why these things should be lit, like, why are they? You know what I mean? Or it's like with the Draugr. I guess with the Draugr, it's like you could argue they're keeping things lit for whatever reason. This might already be changed in Palaces and Castles Enhanced. So I might want to check that out. Solitude and Temple Frescoes. Ooh, I like that. There we go. Oh, ads from the Witcher games. Oh, this is pretty cool. But are these appropriate? Like, is this small, quick, simple mod? Painted frescoes from the Witcher games to the Temple of the Divines. So I needed more color. I saw those frescoes, realized immediately where they look. Each divine's alcove is decorated with a fresco that thought best illustrates that divine's particular domain or personality. The frescoes have a nice 3D effect that is easier to see in game than in screenshots. So I'm down as long as it's like it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like that these actually are like good representations of the various divines. Let's see here. You may have gone over this before, but what have you and your team determined for vampirism and lycanthropy? That will most likely be sacrosanct. Oh, plot setter right here. Sacrosanct and actually growl over Moonlight Tales is what I'm currently testing and kind of planning to do. But we'll see. Just because I don't know. I don't know if Moonlight Tales is still being evaluated, and I know that Enei just released Growl not too long ago. Alright, we can test this one out too. Why not? See how we like it. This is one of the Caves, songs. The Marimba of Frozen something. Bone. The Jaunty. This one is one of the characters' theme. Or maybe just that's generalized. I remember a lot of these, but not all of them. Oh, this is for the dance. The spring dance is what it is. I think. Better looking Blue Palace Courtyard. Yeah, see, this is the one that's included in... Skyrim, or what is it? Solitude Reborn. Familiar with both of those. Pretty decent mods. I am for sure in support of Growl. What are the features of Growl? You want to check it out? Let's check it out. Boom. So you get, off the top of my head, I remember that the abilities scale with you, which is a big problem for the vanilla werewolves. You can like activate things, and there's a lot of like quality of life things that help. Let's see here. Growl lightweight werewolf and werebear overhaul. It offers a much smoother werebeast combat experience. Scaling, reworked perks, synergies between beast and mortal form, lunar transformations, and many quality of life improvements. Excuse me, making werebeast a viable choice for your character. All this without taking over or unbalancing the game. Werebeast overhaul, vanilla plus style, beast blood. Not only a strength but also a curse. This I like very much. I like that for both werewolf, lycanthropy, and vampirism. Beast blood grants 100% resistance to disease. So you can look through all these changes. Love the 2 extra ways of getting werebeast power. Yes, you can also get become a werebeast through methods other than just joining the companions, which I really like. Like that a lot. So it's pretty cool, if you ask me. Alright, what do we got here? Blue Palace Frescoes. Interesting. Isn't Cisco, how about this? Hearthfire's unique display room. What's that? Adds a unique display room to all the Hearthfire houses. Sure, if it's just like a house add-on. I don't know if it's necessary alongside some of the changes from Hearthfire Extended, but could be cool. Any mod that changes the same area where the unique display room is located will be incompatible. So I'd have to test this one. But I can pop it in there. I can download it and we can see. Because I like the concept. Why not? Just give you more storage, right? Alex's keepsake. I remember this one. This is when the character Alex is showing you his photo album of his parents. Oh yeah. Bug jars, very cool. Skyrim shield map. That's cool. I like that a lot. Chat on stream is white text on white. Oops, you're right. I need to fix that still. Here, let's swap these around. Thanks, Finn, for the heads up. What time is it right now? 2:45. All right, we got T-minus 15 minutes, everyone. Yeah, it should be Frescoes. Oh, this is if not my favorite song in the entire game. It's like top 3. Let's see. Blue Palace Frescoes. Did I download this? I can't remember. Oh. Yes, I did. Solitude Temple Frescoes. No, I didn't. Sorry, I downloaded Solitude Temple Frescoes. Blam. Let's throw it in there and check it out. See how well it works. Is there an SSE version? Oops. Nope. Interesting. Oh, Lean Wolf has meshes for these. I can see where it fixes the polygonal nature. I'm gonna sit back down. See, stuff like this, it does look cool to me. I wonder if it's not kind of, I don't know, there's just nothing really like it in the vanilla game, really. Like, not a whole lot of painted stuff. JC, have you made a decision as to immersive horses versus convenient yet? No, I have not. I have not really tested convenient horses. I'm kind of waiting on that. It's like, there's no reason why something like this can't exist in the game. It's just you don't see a whole lot of like art or anything like that in the vanilla game. And see, like, that is pretty obviously like a, you know, that one screenshot concept art. So I don't know. It is cool though. It definitely makes places feel more unique, I'm sure. I don't know. How do you guys feel about this? I just worry it might be a little bit too standout, so to speak. That one's cool. What did I do? Oh. Oof. It can be a bit jarring and out of place for Skyrim. That's my feel. That would be my concern with that other Frescoes mod too. We'll test them. Back here. Let's go ahead. We'll drop them in there and then we'll jump in game and we'll test them, and that'll be kind of our task for the ending of the stream. Texture add-on for the look as seen in the screenshots. Sure. Wild horseradish jam. It's hard to say. This is the best part of the song. It's like this entire part. Isn't this song wonderful? I mean, it's just me. I love it. Oh, there it goes. Bye-bye. Reminds me of something from The Little Mermaid. Oh, what? Really? Maybe just because I have the Stardew association with it. I could see that, though. It's a little... God, we had the hardest time the other day. It was like a... We couldn't... We were trying to sing I Just Can't Wait to Be King from Lion King, and we couldn't remember, like, the actual... what comes after, like, the chorus, right? And we kept jumping immediately into Under the Sea by Little Mermaid, because it's in the same key. And it's like, once you do it one way, it's very hard to, like, remember what the other way was. Let's see here. Blue Palace Frescoes, Solitude Temple Frescoes. Let's see how it works. And also the dome paintings. So we can check out a bunch of Solitude stuff. Get these texture thingies. Depends on context. Elder Scrolls civilizations have gone through multiple rises and falls. You're talking about the viability of whether or not people would do paintings and stuff like this? Let's clean Solitude banner. These are like optional thingies. Smoother meshes. That's cool. So if we're going to do it, we might as well add this in here too. Ow. Here we go. Here, I can show you guys what I'm doing. Smoother meshes. Blue Palace Frescoes add-on. Yes, please. Boom. So that should... Are we going to have plugins here? We do. A lot of them, actually. Okay. We're still fine. We're fine. It's good. Let's go ahead. And so these are in the Solitude Temple of the Divines and then also the Blue Palace. Right? Solitude Dome paintings. Where is that at? Again, just so I make sure. These are where? Historical Roman art and architecture was wildly beyond the later 1,000 years. Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason why someone couldn't have painted these things, you know, like in Elder Scrolls as we see it now. I guess it's just that you don't see it tremendously often, and so that's what, like, you don't see any other examples of, like, things being painted. Alright, so it is Blue Palace. So in that way it feels jarring, but I mean, there's a lot of things that I think will be jarring, and then when I actually test them out in game, I actually end up liking them quite a lot. So maybe this will be like that. That's like how it was with the Chantry Winterhold College textures, right? Plot says, just the bronze casts of actual living human beings are awesome. And statuary went to complete naturalistic, which were boring, and then went way into ideal fantasy. Oh. Interesting. Buttercup melody, of course. Which one is this from? Star is Born, this is a good one. Also, this album, amazing. If any of you guys like chiptune. Also, the recent album by Anna Monoguchi, very, very cool. Ooh. Muscular Superman with 2 extra spinal bones to make them more fantastic. That's pretty realistic. That's like me, I have 2 spines. The doctors said it was weird. I said it was cool. It's not true. They didn't say it was weird. Also, now we're back on white. I really gotta come up with like a background or something for this chat. Oops. You guys want to see my cat? Oh, wait for this to load. The cube. Kitty cat. She's a cutie. A lot of the time she likes to sit right here. She'll just kind of jump up and hang out with me while I work, which is nice. I don't think she wants to right now, though. Yes? No? What are you feeling? Your call. Just hiding underneath the desk. Yeah. She's sleepy. She's the OG, and then now we also have Reggie, who is a rambunctious scamp. He's very sweet, though. Oh, here she goes. Whoa. She's going back to her spot on the couch. Oh my god, it takes so long to load. Oh, this is a really good song, too. This is like the boss fight in the arcade game that is within the game. Totally different subject. Companion mods like Inigo, Lucian, they're in this list right now and likely enabled. We got a lot of companion mods, actually. I got Lucian, I got Inigo. I got a lot of follower mods that aren't quite as individual as those ones. We also got 3D NPCs. Sophia, which one is she? Some of the, because of the kitty. What is the... Sophia, is she one of the... Some of those are a little cringy to me. I need to check it out, though. I can't remember if it's Sophia, which is the one where she's like... I don't mean to denigrate the work. I think it's really fantastic, and there's a lot of... what's the word? The one that I'm thinking of, I remember there being like tons of reactivity in the follower, which I think is really rad. But some of the voice acting was a little not my taste. A little cringy, but she's funny. I can't remember if that's the one I'm thinking of. Sophia, yes. I mean, I don't have that much experience, of course, like with the follower mods. I do like... Why is my chair so low? There we go. I don't know. I can try them out and see how they work. See how we feel. Any playable race mods? A recent playthrough piqued my interest in Snow Elf or Dwemer mods. Not so far, Valerie, because those typically require a lot more consideration. And are a bit more difficult to kind of... They're very much not plug and play, so to speak. But I don't know, maybe in the future. I've not really ever looked into it. It's always just kind of been one of those things where I'm like, nah, not really for me. But yeah, you never know. Come on, baby. Okay. Boom. The frost troll is the most fearsome of its kind, found in Skyrim's coldest recesses. And also right on the road to Winterhold. And Windhelm. Excuse me. Oh, the frame rate's definitely going to be impacted by Chrome as well. Weapons can be improved at a grindstone. What? Fair enough, race mods tend to be very difficult in terms of compatibility. Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested, like maybe a Snow Elf one. Dwemer would be tougher to justify, or like those are the kind of things that almost make, if it would be cool if you had to like unlock them somehow, but of course, I don't know, that wouldn't really work either. If you were going to add them, might as well just add them. It's like you could come up with a reason why it's lore friendly, I suppose, you know what I mean? Like in the same way that, what is his name? Bagram Yagarn, or whatever, Yagram Bagarn, there we go, is lore, he wasn't disappeared because of Corpus or something. Like, since we have precedent for that, you can imagine some other sort of scenario whereby it's possible. But then again, then we have to kind of like stipulate, I guess. Or, I don't know, you add the option and then just let the player determine why their character wasn't disappeared with all the rest of the Dwemer. plot, sigh, Clockwork Castle again. Oh man, sounds wonderful. Alright, let's check out these frescoes, then we'll call it. Hi, Rorik. Excuse me. Why does my mouse feel a little weird? It's like kind of laggy. Or wait. Whoa, nope. I thought maybe it was the sensitivity. Guess not. Do I have it FPS limited? No, I guess I don't. Alright, let's see. COC, Solitude, Temple of the Divines. Oh shit, this music alongside the Skyrim music is tripping me out. Being great and all with regard to Dwemer lore. Gotcha. I don't know! Excuse me. Ooh. Okay, I mean, at a glance, this looks pretty cool. And it does kind of have like a oil-painted style because of the normal map. Huh. They do look pretty cool, I gotta admit. This is... because they remind me, too, of, like, religious paintings. So this one I'm kind of digging. Maybe we can leave this in there. Just a little, you know, nice small touch. Alright, let's go check out Solitude Blue Palace. Blue place. Oh, I gotta turn off that music. This is the sad one. I think this is like cold bacon and eggs or something like that. Yeah, it does remind me of tarot cards. This is the song that plays for the very sad character who's like kind of depressed and lost his job. Whoa. Oh, it changes the... I think it makes everything blue. Which kinda is cool. Interesting. I mean, I can always get rid of those textures, but it's kind of cool in a way, isn't it? I like it more than I thought I would. And it definitely fits Blue Palace. Makes it a little more distinct compared to, you know, some of the other. I'm not sure. Oh, that's actually a pretty nice floor texture as well. Oh shit. Well, actually, they don't even show up because the Blue Palace... or palaces and what's it called? Palaces and Castles Enhanced doesn't allow those areas behind her, or it's like totally different. Whoa. Blue Palace, not so much. So cartoony to me. Not feeling it, huh? It's definitely less of an instant like improvement versus the other ones. This is kind of nice. But I totally feel you guys. And you do have a big problem with repeating here, it seems. Yeah, this one maybe not. And then those are also replaced. Wow, this includes a lot. Oh, here we go. You can see. There they are. It does look a little silly, doesn't it? Well, it was worth a shot. Let's go if we can at least see the dome. We can look up at that. Oh, what the fuck? So it's also messing with... I mean, we also have, like, some unpatched stuff here, it looks like. I can't even... What the fuck? Those are not properly mapped textures, I don't think. Yeah, this is going wild. Huh. Where's the dome, though? Did Palace and Castles get rid of it, or is it supposed to be up here, and we're just not... I think it is supposed to be up there, based on the circle shape of that thing. What is happening up there? It's like it's not... What the fuck? Palace and Castles Enhanced. Like, why is this all clipping into the wall? I mean, that's probably just because of, yeah, mod conflicts. What is it? Mod conflicts, yes. To be fair, not a fair showing. Unfortunately, what I'd have to really do is... Alright, here's what we'll do. So I think fair to say that the Temple of the Divines, those ones are super cool. I think those can stay no matter what. What we'll do, just for the last little show off for the stream, is we'll go on to the testing profile. It kind of made me feel like I was in like an MC Escher painting or something like that, you know? Texture test. Okay, Solitude Dome paintings, yes. And you and you. Blue Palace Frescoes. Wait a second, what the heck? Oh, this... Okay, for some reason it was confusing for a second. Solitude. This is the temple one. Here's Blue Palace. What do you... Okay. We can... Sure, why not? We'll just enable that one as well. Blue Palace Frescoes. Add-on. What is this overwriting? Oh, gotcha. Okay. Let's launch it. I'm also going to pause our beautiful Stardew here. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, I'm so hungry. I'm going to eat. What should I eat after this? Maybe I can have a bagel. Some bagels and eggs. I have chicken that I need to eat or it's going to go bad. So I might just eat a bunch of that chicken. I'm just not feeling it. You know what I mean? You know, have it tonight for dinner. Dunno. I'm gonna take a nap. I need to get some more sleep. Been overdoing it a bit. High energy. That's me. Are we already in? See how much faster it loads. Although it's been like locking my mouse. And maybe it's the display. I don't know what's going on. Display tweaks, display fixes. Do I have any more coffee? Oh, I do. I do have a little bit. You can do it, everybody. There you go. You can do this. Ganbaru. You've got an SSD. I do, but it's connected. It's external right now. So I'm sure it's still being bottlenecked. Yeah, starting a game, please. Plays. Wow, look at that. Whoa. Skyrim Unbound. Okay. Okay. Oh man, that reminds me. You know what I haven't had in a long time is a Burger King. I actually quite like Burger King as far as fast food goes. I think it's pretty decent a lot of the time. I like their French fries. They're kind of unique, and I like them. Wow. So the default lighting for Special Edition it's a little like foggy all the time to me, even when it's clear, but it's got some nice effects. Like, see, this is supposed to be perfectly clear. It looks like everything's covered in kind of like a haze, which I'm not a super huge fan of, but in general, it's pretty good. It's pretty cool. All right, Pretzel Bacon King. I'd never even... What is that even? Sounds amazing. Pretzel Bacon King. COC, Solitude, Blue Palace. Vanilla Nights on Essie are awful. Is that so? Pretzel bun, I imagine. Yeah, that makes sense. Bacon cheeseburger on a pretzel bun. Ooh. Okay, so here we've got some blue. Nice Blue Palace. It's very blue. I can see what they're going for now. That still looks a little strange to me. And I can see like these textures directly above me. They're like flipped. You might argue that it's like intentional, but it looks a bit strange. It's a bit too Second Life for me. Wow, I forgot how small Blue Palace is by default.
As long as those dogs stay outside of our borders, we're fine.
That's kind of cool with the other blue.
Strange noises and lights. We need someone to investigate.
There we go. Whoa. I mean, that looks pretty cool. Yeah, there's a lot going on the ceiling. Double, triple, bossy deluxe on a raft 4x4 animal style. Oh, yeah. Extra shingles, the shimmy and a squeeze, light axes. What are you talking about, my friend? I have no idea. Ah, what am I stuck on? Here we go. Hey. Hi. So that part looks pretty good, I suppose. It's just like a nice little bonus. You look up and you see it. But it looks a bit to me too much. I know it's because I swapped it out with the realistic paintings. Oh, In and Out. I love In and Out, but I don't know all of these extra. What the hell? Dude, I thought I knew the In and Out secret menu well, but evidently not. Excuse me. Yeah, it looks like the Sistine Chapel or something like that. It looks too like real world. You know what I mean? It's kind of my opinion there. So it was worth a shot, I'd say. I don't think this one's quite for me. This part I don't mind. That's actually kind of like a decent texture, but the rest of it, I don't know. I might just kind of prefer to let the other... It just looks too different and kind of without any sort of like explanation, really. And like some obvious kind of like texture repeating stuff like this. Not quite for me. But it was worth a shot, right? Thank you for humoring me while we went through there. Sacrilegious, I love it. I feel you. I mean, it's definitely a subjective taste. Especially with something like that. Anything texture and all that. And I like the idea that it makes the blue palace blue. You know what I mean? On the inside as well as the top dome. But I think that was not for me. I do really like the Solitude and Temple frescoes. Those are really nice. Alright, well, I think that's going to do it for today, everyone. Thank you for joining me as always. I'll be back tomorrow at the same time, and I will make sure to get Lexi's up and running in the meantime, and then we can go ahead and use some of our time tomorrow to test out Legacy of the Dragonborn, which I think will be a really fun and useful use of our time, because it's been so long that I haven't tested it, and it's about time that we did. So thank you all for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and sign off and go and get myself... Oh, man, In and Out sounds really good. Is that doable? Quarantine style? They add that to the secret menu? Of course, you're all very welcome for the stream. Thank you for joining me. Maybe I'll find a way to get myself some In and Out, because, my God, that sounds amazing. Goodbye, everyone. See you tomorrow.